Parliament's previous handling of President Cyril Ramaphosa's impeachment process was unlawful. The committee will determine whether there are sufficient grounds for an inquiry into alleged violations linked to the Phala Farm scandal. The matter relates to the theft of foreign currency from Ramaphosa's Limpopo game farm in 2020. On the 31-member committee, the ANC received the largest allocation of 9 seats. The DA follows with 5 representatives, while the MK party will have 3 members. The EFF has been allocated 2 seats, while the remaining parties will each be represented by 1 member of parliament. Civic organisation March and March wants government to temporarily halt the processing of refugee applications. Its leader Jacinta Ngobese Zuma says during this time, government should focus on the mass deportation of those who are in the country illegally. Ngobese Zuma made the demands during a late-night press conference in Durban. That briefing came just hours after some March and March leaders walked out of a high-level meeting at the Union Buildings in Pretoria, dismissing it as a talk shop. The meeting was called as the country continues to see demonstrations by various groups calling for action over the illegal migration crisis. Ngobese Zuma says a state of emergency needs to be declared.
We call upon the government to stop granting and processing of all refugee applications within 14 days until the state has come up with an interim solution pending the process currently underway in respect of the white paper. Because currently there's no need for them to keep handing out refugee statuses when they know that their house is not in order.
The Johannesburg Magistrates Court has heard how controversial figure Brown Mokgotsi dumped his bodyguards ahead of his alleged fake assassination attempt. Mokgotsi appeared in court yesterday for his formal bail application. He faces charges related to the alleged staged hit, including perjury, defeating the ends of justice and the unlawful possession of a firearm. Thabiso Koba reports.
Ahead of the alleged assassination incident in November last year, the state says Brown Mokgotsi was moving around with a security detail. At the time, Mokgotsi, who claimed to fear for his life, was due to appear at the Madlanga Commission. However, State Prosecutor Taimi Mpekana says on the day of the incident, Mokgotsi did something strange.
On 3 November 2025, he dismissed the close protection security officers early at about 1700 hours, informing them that he would not be making further use of them for the day. He proceeded to drive to Vosloorus against all security measures that was in place for his protection.
When police got to the scene, they found the car Mokgotsi was travelling in peppered with bullets. The state says the incident was staged. However, Mokgotsi denies this. His bail application continues on Thursday. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Johannesburg Transport MMC Kenny Kunene says plans are underway to tackle the impact of illegal mining across parts of the West Rand. Kunene conducted an oversight visit in Roodepoort yesterday following the discovery of massive sinkholes and illegal mining tunnels in both residential areas and the CBD. He says a multidisciplinary approach involving the JMPD, the SAPS and the provincial government will be needed to address the growing crisis.
Now, not only is the infrastructure of the city of Johannesburg damaged, but also the residents of Witpoortjie have been deprived of security.
At the same time, Kunene also raised concerns over the theft of copper cables at traffic signals across the city, saying this continues to cost the municipality millions. He says the city is now introducing new technology in an attempt to protect traffic infrastructure and reduce vandalism.
But as JRA, we are now using thinner cables because they want copper. So we are using thinner cables, which is discouraging them because when they take those cables to scrapyards, they are of no use. But we are also using alternative energy to power some of our traffic signals.
And in the U.S., around 50,000 Southern California residents are expected to return to their homes after the threat of a toxic chemical tank explosion was eliminated. The residents were evacuated last week following concerns that the flammable chemical in the tank could explode. The tank contains 26,000 litres of a volatile liquid used to make plastics. The chemical is irritating to the skin, eyes and mucous membranes in humans. The crisis began late last week when authorities detected a leak in the tank and subsequently a crack. Federal regulators were then dispatched as a team of experts was there to advise on possible outcomes. Gold is trading at $4,531.72 an ounce. The rand is at 16.35 to the dollar, 22.04 to the pound, 19.01 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $97.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road. There's also queuing traffic already along the Maikwan North. This is between Boysons Road and Carr Street.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns are home with a trophy parade planned to go through Pretoria today, ending at Church Square this afternoon. For the first time ever, there's not a single Real Madrid player in Spain's FIFA World Cup squad. And in the Telkom Netball League, the Fireballs thrashed the Jaguars 44-26 in the Gauteng derby.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Joburg starting at a low of 7 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 8 and 23, and Vereniging 5 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Parliament has confirmed the names of the members who will be serving on the impeachment committee.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. My name is indeed Bongani Bingwa, and I'm pleased to be in your company for the next 3 hours. Welcome to the show. Welcome one, welcome all. The great celebrations yesterday I wasn't a part of, but believe me, in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit, I'm still wearing my Pirates jersey. The rest of the team members have run out of t-shirts, I am reliably informed, but that's a matter for another day. On our menu today, we will be speaking to a former Eskom board member. She's the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. It's been 375 days without load shedding, but Busi Mavuso is warning we may go back to the dysfunctioning traffic lights, to schedules and stages and candlelight. Not for technical reasons, but for financial reasons. Eskom is owed in excess of 130 billion rand. How did we get here? We'll bring you yet another example of black sheep thinking in our Camissa Black Sheep Thinking series. We'll trace a moment that really birthed modern aviation as we now know it to just 123 odd years ago. We take the idea of international flights and travel for granted, but it wasn't all that long ago that it was just a pipe dream. We'll, before 9 o'clock, speak about the Bongani Bingwa story, a powerful new documentary. They've interviewed all sorts of people from Quincy Jones to Whoopi Goldberg, telling us the story of the amazing playwright.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So that's our menu today. Of course, as always, I'm not alone, but with a team of colleagues behind the scenes working furiously to put the show together. Producers Siamtanda and Dropfio are putting the program together. KG here to start the clock. Amuramila getting you safely on your morning commute and to your destination on time. A very good morning to you, Amo.
Good morning, Bongani Morning 702 landers.
We're still celebrating, right?
Oh, we are indeed, through and through.
I've got to ask you, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I can't stop talking about our win. It's such a, I don't know how to explain it. It's yeah, you have to have experienced it before to know how it feels.
Muteo Harepe, have you recovered?
No, not yet. I mean, I watched the game on my own, as I do. I just realized when we won it in 2011, I was on my own. The second treble, I was also on my own because it's just a nervy day. And on Saturday, my wife just left me. It's like, I'm taking the kids. We'll see you tomorrow. And
are you one of those who doesn't want to discuss it? If you're, like, for example, at a family event, you're not going to go to that room where everybody's watching it. You don't want to be messaged, nothing.
I got a few calls at halftime and I didn't take any of them because I was still quite nervous.
You didn't want to jinx it.
It could go anywhere.
Well, the celebrations will continue. Great to have you all on the show. Today's shout out is a very simple one, but quite direct. Sometimes we use these shout-outs to illustrate a story that's in the news, and sometimes we're just a little bit more direct. So here's a question for you both. Yesterday, of course, was Africa Day, the 25th of May. It's a day, in fact, that traces all the way back to 1958. It was a conference of independent African states. Can you believe only 8 countries were represented? South Africa, technically speaking, was supposedly independent, but of course, because of apartheid, they weren't invited. Here we are all these years later. That date, of course, was changed in 1963 to the 25th of May, as we have it today. And I want to know a very simple question. What does it mean to you to be an African? What does being an African mean to you? And how do you locate your sense of being an African to the rest of the continent? Muteo?
It's having 10 toes down on this very soil, this very beautiful continent that we're on. It's the food, it's the diversity, the many cultures that exist on this particular continent. So that's the thing that whether I'm anywhere in the world, I identify with.
Amo?
Yeah, I have to agree with Mateo, as well as the way we as Africans greet and embrace each other. It doesn't matter which country you come from, which province you come from. Just when you see an elderly person or you are amongst a group of people that you're just meeting for the first time, the way we greet each other and we embrace each other makes me feel like an African.
So I asked the question in the context of Africa Month, Africa Week, and Africa Day. But I also ask it in the context of the conversation about the migration crisis that is unfolding in South Africa at the moment. Is it your sense that many of us are happy to describe ourselves as African, claim that African heritage and identity, but increasingly struggle to locate it or link it with the rest of the continent? That our Africanness is almost a separation. We'll much more readily see ourselves as Basotho, as Botswana, as AmaXhosa, as AmaZulu, rather than necessarily as part of the continent. And is that part of the disconnect around the migration crisis that we are facing in South Africa and the conversations that are being had? I'd love your thoughts on this on 072-702-1702. Feel free to send us a voice note. We saw yesterday, of course, a gathering of the security cluster of ministers who were trying to address concerns that have been bubbling under for quite some time. Yesterday, March and March leader Jacinta Gobese Zuma briefed the media, stating that the 30th of June is going to be their deadline as a movement for government to outline its plan to address illegal migration, she said. And she also called for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa and to do so immediately. And yesterday, we saw a number of ministers, including the Justice and Development, Constitutional Development Minister, Mamuluko Kubai. There was Angie Motshekga, who's the Defense Minister. They were all gathered to try and discuss what comes next as far as this problem is concerned. How do we locate our sense of Africanness in this conversation is what I'm curious to hear you say.
As South Africans, we are giving governments until the 30th of June to give us a map of how they are going to deal with the issue of illegal immigration. I don't think any of us are stupid to think that all of them will be gone. Of course not. But we are encouraging them to go before the 30th of June. Because what we know is that the kind of illegal immigrants that we have here think they are more South African than South Africans. If you tell them about their home countries, they get very angry. If you remind them that they're not South African, they get very furious. They can even kill you if you remind them, hey, when you're a Nigerian or when you're a Zimbabwean, then they call you self-hate, you are xenophobic, you are Afro, all of this, right? So there's 2 types of immigrants that we are dealing with. There's those that we know will self-deport. We know those ones. They're most of the time just innocent people who are just coming here to just make a living. And those will go. They're not going to give much of a problem. But the ones that will stay are the ones that are the biggest problem. Those are the ones that require the intensity of the government, that require the intensity of South Africans.
the intensity of the government, the intensity of South Africans. What do you think that means? Who is to blame for where we find ourselves as far as this issue is concerned? March and March are not the first organization to raise some of these concerns. We saw much the same from Operation Dudula. And I don't know if you saw those visuals from the protests that unfolded last week, where I think it was in the Durban city center in eThekwini, where some of the protesters were quite literally using shambox, beating the people they claimed were undocumented foreigners, undocumented migrants, with shambox, doing so in front of uniformed officers on camera. Right? Quite clearly, this thing is bubbling under. Quite clearly, it could get really, really ugly. And quite clearly, it could get out of control. Who is to blame for it, and how do we solve it?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
17 after 6. Mateo Khwaripa, you've got a question of your own?
Are you honest when you're not in a good financial position? Let me give you an example. You've got enough
depends
money.
with whom. With my kids, yes.
You've got enough money to get yourself through the month, right? And you get a call from someone close and they also need financial help.
And now, Asina Mali.
Do you just give them the money and sort it out yourself? Or
I don't have, or if I do, it'll impact.
No, you have enough for yourself.
Yeah, but if I give this person,
yes,
I'm in a different position. Azika is Mali.
So you tell them, look,
yes, Asina Mali. Oh no, that's even. I mean, the real trick is to say that when you do have it. Right? So if I don't have it, easy peasy.
It's easier. You don't have it. You don't even have to explain.
Mali, no.
You do have a little bit of extra.
You strike me as someone that's very generous.
I am very. It's so problematic. I'm such a yes gal. I'll even make if I don't have it and I know that Muteo has got a little bit of extra, I'll come to Muteo and say, Muteo, you know, we need to help Siam Tanda out. Yeah, she's in a situation. If you can, I'm not saying you should, but if you can, she will bring back the money. Please, can we assist her? And then, yeah.
Yeah, no, we work at the same place. If you don't have it, I don't have it.
7:02.
Weather.
18 minutes after 6 o'clock, this weather report brought to you by Subaru. Wet roads, rough roads, roads you didn't expect. Subaru carries you through life's weather. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at 21 degrees in Joburg and Vereeniging. Your maximum in Pretoria will be 23 degrees. Cape Town peaks at 19 degrees. Mahikeng 23. Bloemfontein 22. Kimberley 25. Durban fine with a light northwesterly wind or breeze. Temperatures peaking at 26 degrees. East London 24. Gqeberha 21.
The forecast says sunshine, but Mother Nature had other plans. Life changes, the weather turns. Little voices in the back still hoping you'll say yes. And you do, because beneath you there's a different kind of certainty in every turn and every stretch of road ahead. You don't worry about the weather. Instead, you get to enjoy every moment and every memory. That's not just confidence, it's love. Subaru carries you through life's weather. Fall in love with Subaru's all-weather confidence. Book a test drive on subaru.co.za.
EWN Traffic.
19 minutes after 6 o'clock, let's have a first look at the roads. Amo, what are you seeing at this hour?
Well, we've got peak time delays, Bongani, along the Mark 1 North. This is between Xavier Street and the double-decker section. There's also queuing traffic in Germiston along the N3 North between the Gillands Interchange and Van Buren Road. And then if you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, do expect delays on the R80 East Mabopane Highway towards Eskom Kahlele Drive. Also, that's due to peak time delays there. We'll have more updates coming up, but if you see anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $139.99. Surf Fruit 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre, any 2 for 89 Rand. And Omo Auto liquid detergent 2 litre or capsules 20 per pack, any 2 for 200 Rand. Valid until 7 June, only at Checkers.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hi, this is Carol Shabalala, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. It's more fun when it's for fun. Playing responsibly is always a winning strategy. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Whenever she fell or got hurt, a kiss always took the pain away. Honey and hugs helped at first when the coughing started. It's just a cold. Keep her warm and she'll be fine, we thought. I wish I could kiss RSV away too. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Morning, Bongani. For as long as we have this high unemployment rate amongst all the levels, even the youth is the hardest hit, people will fight. And for as long as you get some people that's employing some illegal immigrants in certain sectors, you will always have this call for people to leave. I think the problem is there's not enough jobs being created, and that's the biggest challenge. The current state of the country, how people are becoming poorer and poorer, is not helping the situation.
All right, so you've identified poor service delivery, I suppose, issues of shortage in this country, right? Unemployment. So that's one of the issues you are saying puts a pressure on South Africans. I suppose then the other question you must ask is, why do the migrants come to this country in the first place? We clearly have our own issues with poverty, with unemployment, with inequality, but why do they come to South Africa, to a country that has those problems in the first place? Muteo?
Better systems. And they've also admittedly said this, that even though we have our own issues with health and electricity and all these things that we still need to deal with, it's worse off where they are, and they come here for a better opportunity.
The Zimbabwean journalist has written quite an interesting piece. He put it on X the other day, and he makes the argument that, take Zimbabwe's health system, for example, and he says their largest public hospital relies on a single maternity theatre built in 1977. This is in the days of Rhodesia. He says the entire country hasn't had a functioning radiotherapy cancer treatment machine for the entire country for years. Is it any wonder then that people cross the border to go give birth in Musina?
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
What you need to know at this hour, 25 after 6, Mexico has agreed to host the Iranian national football team for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This is after the United States reportedly refused to do so. The Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, says FIFA approached the country to assist with accommodation and travel arrangements for the Iranian squad. So they'll be based in Tijuana in Mexico during the tournament, but they'll still play their group matches in Los Angeles and Seattle. Tell me if it makes sense. I mean, listen to this. That list of 31 MPs from different political parties to sit on that special impeachment committee deciding the fate of the president. It includes a convicted criminal, an impeached judge, and a criminally accused person. And that's the panel that will decide the investigation or the allegations and recommend whether or not that process looking into the Phala Phala matter should go forward. Hey, all those people judging a president. Europe is bracing itself for its first major heat wave of 2026 as a powerful heat dome. Temperatures soaring beyond record-breaking levels. We'll get more details from Adam Gilchrist in the World View. What's the best free gift or giveaway you've ever received? Something that you got unexpectedly that you might still be using today? On this day in 2007, Def Jam Records gave away 10,000 umbrellas. This was to promote Rihanna's hit single, Umbrella. And born on this day in 1981 in KwaMashu, KwaZulu-Natal, Zakes Bantwini. He was born as Zakhele Madida. As I say, on this day in 1981, he's a Grammy Award-winning singer, producer, and entrepreneur, really known for shaping South Africa's Afro house sound. He turns 45 today. Oh, man. Hey, happy birthday, Zakes Bantwini.
702.
The newspapers.
Heck of a nice guy, isn't he? Mbali Dlamini, you're in the hot seat this morning. Good morning.
A very good morning, Bonks.
What story is grabbing your attention? These are international stories, yeah?
Yes, international stories. I don't know. We're all parents here. I struggle to find creative ways to get my son to move,
Exercise,
any type of movement. And I don't know how you guys handle it, but yeah, you need to bribe or convince him that there is a reward at the end of it. And I don't think that's sustainable. And the only reason why I'm talking about this, Bongs, is because this morning the BBC has a feature that they're running on why moving about is key for children's health and happiness. He is a preteen, so I think because he doesn't move, that's why he's always got an attitude. And maybe I need to find more creative ways. Yeah. Scientists are actually very concerned that inactivity amongst children amid these rising obesity rates in the country, they say that 1 in 10 children and adolescents are currently living with obesity as a condition across the globe. So they're saying, as parents, find ways that you can get your children to move because you need about 60 minutes in a day.
I can tell you, they won't do what you say. They'll do what you do. Okay. So move with them. If they see you move, so the question, Bali, Lamini,
am I moving
how much
enough?
Are you moving?
Oh,
That's
man.
the question. Phala Phala Cyril's Indaba says the front page of The Citizen, getting unexpected support amid his farm saga as ex-president Thabo Mbeki tells the ANC to butt out of his affairs. I think that's one reading of it. I didn't quite listen to Thabo Mbeki and get that impression, I would say. Idexis disputing SAPRA claims this is around fake medicines that SAPRA says people need to be aware of. That's the front page of the Business Day.
EWN Business.
So whatever wants to know, you've got enough to get you through the month. You get a call from a person near and dear asking for financial help. Do you say you're not in a good position? What do you tell them?
Well, I'm asking
the question. What's there not to tell?
It's hard to tell people about your finance. It's hard because you don't want people to think you're struggling, first of all.
Listen, it's different to volunteer. I guess that would be hard. But if I don't have...
the question is posed, then you're like...
And they don't have... Oh, simple. What prompts the question?
Well, retailer Pick n Pay has had to be quite honest with shareholders, saying it's had to push back its profit target to 2029 as its turnaround plan takes longer to materialize. It's now pushing back its break-even target. The break-even point is the exact moment when a business's total revenue equals its total cost. So at this stage, there's no profit and there is no loss. The company has generated enough sales to cover all its expenses. Pick n Pay say they're a bit far away from that. Pick n Pay's financial results yesterday for the 2026 financial year revealed a total comprehensive group loss of 185 million rand.
Yeah, I heard Sean Summers talking to Stephen Krotis last night, and Stephen asked him, does that mean fewer people are walking through your shops?
Yeah.
And he said they've had to close something like 90 stores, and obviously that would have had an impact on their bottom line, and that's why they're pushing these dates a little lower down the road. Where are we with the rand?
The rand still quite decent this morning, 16 rand 33 against the US dollar, exactly 19 rand against the euro, 22 rand 2 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,539 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,954. It's down 1% this morning. Brent crude at $98 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Mbali Dlamini, let's start with the Department of Social Development.
Thanks, Bongani. A very good morning. Well, Parliament's Social Development Committee says disgraced former Minister Sisisi Tolashe is not off the hook while investigations against her continue. Committee Chairperson Bridget Masango says they will await the conclusion of all investigations related to irregular appointments and the alleged mistreatment of household staff employed by Tolashe. The committee had been probing these matters when she was fired. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
A Public Service Commission investigation found there to have been collusion, fraud and forgery involved in the appointment of former Minister Sisisi Tolashe's private secretary. At a briefing in Parliament yesterday, Social Development Committee Chairperson Bridget Masango said the committee will follow through on its oversight on these matters.
We have to oversight and arrive at a place where if there were taxpayers' monies that disappeared as a result of whatever could have happened, that the processes that need to be followed to recoup those monies ensued.
Tomorrow, the committee is due to discuss a forensic investigation that Tolashe herself commissioned into the appointment of the former Director General of the department.
By no means are the investigations also gone with the Minister. They stay.
The committee is also still expecting further information from the department regarding a 3 million rand trip led by Tolashe to New York last year. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A co-accused in the trial of alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak is set to be cross-examined by the state when proceedings resume this morning. Modak's alleged middleman, Ziad Pool, was in the witness box yesterday testifying in his own defense. Pool is amongst the 14 accused on trial with Modak for various crimes linked to an alleged criminal enterprise. Carlo Peterson has more.
Ziad Pool yesterday admitted he purchased the Hyundai Creta used as the getaway car in the attempted murder of defense attorney William Booth. The shooting at Booth's Eagevale home in April 2020 forms part of the charges he faces. The state alleges Pool provided the vehicle and helped plan the attack. When previously submitting his plea, Pool denied any involvement, but yesterday he made a U-turn admitting he bought the car for his cousin, accused number 4, Taufik Brown.
The Creta was good. His wife was looking for a car.
You say his wife, you referring to?
Brown's wife. Was looking for a car. Then I found the car. The owner of that Creta said this car is behind. She must give 25,000 or 30,000.
Paul says he believed the car was for Brown's wife Kota, who has since served 3 years of house arrest after pleading guilty for her involvement in the Booth attack. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And US forces say they have attacked missile sites in southern Iran and boats trying to lay mines. The strikes came as top Iranian negotiators arrived in Doha for the latest round of talks to end the months-long conflict and as the Israeli military stepped out hostilities with Iran-backed Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Iran's state-run broadcaster reported several loud explosions were heard in the vicinity of Bandar Abbas around midnight local time. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today, lows of between 5 and 8 degrees and highs of between 21 and 23.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. While travelling in Boksburg, roadworks are back up again along the N17 West. This is between the R21 and Osborne Road. There's also queuing traffic reported on the Mike 1 North between Xavier Street and Carr Street.
The top story in EWN, Parliament's Social Development Committee says disgraced former Minister Sisisi Tolashe is not off the hook yet while investigations against her continue.
Get down to Dis-Chem this Friday 29 May to Sunday 31 May for incredible one weekend only 2+1 cheapest free deals on the widest range of sports supplements and energy drinks. Offer applies to the lowest priced items in your sports supplements basket. Remember, when you choose better rewards brands, you get an extra 10% off instantly. Level up your fitness game with 2+1 cheapest free on sports supplements this weekend only. Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
Zanzi, Powerball and Powerball Plus have skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping 207 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. So don't get left behind. Play Powerball for an estimated 107 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 100 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za on the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Push-Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
It's another girl!
Families multiply, fees shouldn't. With Ultimate Banking, you get support for every chapter. Get discounted banking for your spouse and give each of your children a head start with a Mega U account. Because as your family grows, your banking should keep up. Apply online. Your story matters. ABSA. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider.
When tax issues get complex, you need more than general advice. You need specialist insight. AJM turns intricate tax challenges into clear strategic solutions. From disputes and litigation to long-term planning, our expertise protects what matters to you and your business. With teams in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Namibia, we deliver the rigorous analysis high-stakes decisions demand. AJM. Complex tax matters simply resolved.
Coming up in the next hour, What's the Question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. You send us an answer based on anything that piqued your interest during the show. For that, you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to get your answer to win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, 702. Gordon John from Freehof. When I was younger, I had the opportunity to work in the Democratic Republic of Congo for a construction company, building pools and stuff and doing very masculine stuff. And after that, I got the opportunity to work in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Jos, selling timeshare for what we know as the what's that name called? RCI, but they were called RVA. So it was only selling holidays within the African continent, encouraging Africans to live in Africa and to take their families on vacations in Africa. And then I was in Mauritius and Seychelles, so I saw different parts of Africa, islands as well as countries. And I must say, coming home, you appreciate your friends and family differently because you see that there's more to life than Johannesburg. Thank you.
Good morning, Bongs. This is KG from the East Rand. What you're describing is called South African exceptionalism. We think we are better than the rest of Africa, just like some African Americans who try and deny their link to Africa because they think they are better than Africans. What you're talking about is South Africans thinking that we are better than the rest of Africa. Thank you. This is KG from the East Rand.
Well, we're talking, of course, in the wake of Africa Month. What does being an African mean to you? And how much do you locate your sense of Africanness as something that's part of a wider continental picture of solidarity and belonging? Or is it entirely separate?
Other topic. I hate being asked for money, whether I have or not. So I say, I have for me, but not for you. And if I do help you, I'm going to interfere in God's divine path for your life. You need to learn your lesson and evolve. So I try not to help people when they need money at all.
Woo, that's awfully fatalistic. Mateo Kharipe wanted to know, and he was trying to explain the Pick n Pay story because they've had to tell their shareholders not so very good news. When you've got enough to get through the month and somebody wants your assistance, are you bold enough to tell them you don't have for them?
Good morning, Bongani and team. How Bongani? Just to say, Batun Sundowns iwinile halala. Mona ke wa eng? Aibo. Nomhle Pretoria.
EWN Sport.
Hold your horses. Cindy Paluta is
I'm here, guys. Don't
We're
worry,
gonna
I got
talk
you,
about it.
Sundowns.
We're going to talk about it. Don't you worry. Hold your horses. Of course, coming up in the next half an hour, we'll look at how one breakthrough idea and unconventional thinking reshaped the world and delivered better outcomes. This is the Black Sheep Thinking series powered by Camisa Asset Management. Invest differently. Camisa Asset Management is a licensed FSP. And of course, Cindy Paluta, that is the story of the moment.
It is.
Pandemonium at OR Tambo
Love it.
International Airport.
Love it.
Great celebrations, well deserved
Yeah.
by Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, and especially because they arrived home so late. So to see such a great turnout at the airport at that time of the night was just phenomenal. And they arrived home with the CAF Champions League trophy. And they're going to be taking it through Pretoria today, starting in Namalpius around 10 a.m. The details are obviously very loose and sketchy at the moment. But they're planning to go through Mamelodi at approximately 10:30 until about 12:30. Then after that, they're going to end up at Church Square around 3:30. And that's where you can just carry on partying with everybody. Gonna be amazing. And why they're celebrating?
Parade.
Why are they celebrating? Because they got their second Champions League star on their jersey. And with just 2.5 weeks to go to the start of the FIFA World Cup, Sundowns midfielder Jaden Adams said it was an important win.
Going into the World Cup, Sundowns won a trophy. Pirates won a trophy. That just boost I think that will boost the camp. Everyone is winners and we get together and fight for the country.
I mean, let's be very clear. I think Sundowns have done South African football proud. And there's no taking it away from them. So well done, well done, well done. I'm going on the record and I'm saying congratulations to the two-time African champions.
And welcome back, Bongani, and
Yes.
congratulations to you and Orlando Pirates.
there
You
is
missed the
that.
festivities yesterday, so we've moved on because this is a fast-paced world we live
Yes,
in.
of course. Yes, of course. Let's talk Bafana.
I'm just so happy that I didn't have to remind you for the rest of the year that you slipped up. I promise you. I was like, if this team does not win this league, I'll be very upset.
would have
Anyway,
been
Fox
disaster.
Sports reporting that Bafana defender Olwetu Makanya has picked up an undisclosed injury as he missed Philadelphia's game with Inter Miami yesterday. But it's also rumored coach Bradley Cornell left him out as a precautionary measure. For the first time ever, the Spain World Cup squad does not have a single Real Madrid player. Lamine Yamal is the star in the squad. FIFA has approved for Iran's training base to be moved from the USA to Mexico. Iran were initially given Tucson as their base. They play New Zealand and Belgium in LA and then Egypt in Seattle. In tennis, still no upsets in the first round of Roland Garros. The women's top seeds cruised Rybakina, Anisimova and Swiatek. As we said last week, top players have staged coordinated media protests, only giving 15-minute post-match interviews, symbolic of the percentage of tournament revenue players receive. Players feel they deserve a higher percentage of that revenue. One of those players is Iga Swiatek.
We will do more when the tournament will do more for us. And not only us, the top players, because obviously we are the ones that have the most contact with you guys, but, for also the lower rank players and the whole structure.
And at the Telkom Netball League, Fireballs beat Jaguars 44-26 in the Gauteng Derby. In the day's other big result, the Allos shocked the Flames 52-46 for only their second win of the tournament. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
You have insurance, just in case. A spare tire, just in case. But when it comes to cash flow, most businesses
And buy, so timing doesn't decide for you. Get access to up to 10 million rand. No cost to apply or keep it in place.
use it when you need it, free when you don't. Apply online at bridgement.com.
Bridgement. Business funding simplified.
It's game day, and the family's facing off against the Snotties and Flemmies. Dad's down! Blocked sinus and mucus is gaining ground!
New game plan. Let's bring in the ACC team.
With ACC, Mom's got the winning play. Entering the field, ACC helps break down mucus and clear the airways. Choose the winning team when you're facing Snotties and Flemmies. If it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
So, the payments game has totally changed and businesses can now score with the new FNB Speedpoint range.
That's great news for business owners.
You get a low commission rate starting from 1.8% that drops to as low as 0.6% as your business grows.
I want to play for this winning team.
Get in the payments game with a bank that rewards your business for doing well. FNB, help changes everything. First National Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Morning, Uncle Bongani and the team. My name is Rosang Mloy. I am 12 years old. I go to nice primary school, and I would like to become a surgical doctor when I grow up, and I'm very excited to play those quiz with you.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 7. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. Tell us about those delays in the Sharon Lee area, Amo.
Well, Bongani, it's due to an accident along Malibongwe Drive. It's right near the N1. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Oliver Node Avenue. So please be on the lookout there. You can still try to use alternative routes like Bayers Nodia Drive, especially if you're heading towards areas like Kaya Sand as well as Cosmo City. If you are traveling in four ways, we've got more delays along the Winnie Mandela Drive. That's between Witkoppen Road and Leslie. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's in the Germiston area. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 51. Did I use too many emojis in that text? Did I sound too eager? Oh, the mental gymnastics. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Mzansi, Take-A-Lot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks A Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take-A-Lot Thanks A Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Good morning, Bongani. There's a caller who said we South Africans, we think we are better. There's an element of truth in that because before 1994, we were not yet free as other African countries. So we were made to believe in many ways that we are better than other African countries. Even the stories that were told were just negative about Africa. The reason being that we were supposed, they wanted us not to aspire to be free like other African countries, to say we are better off with our apartheid here. So there is a truth in that. So again, the Afrophobia that we see today, it will be a cliche, but that's how it is, that it's a legacy of apartheid. Kabelo from Pretoria.
Kabelo from Pretoria. So then, here's a follow-up question. Was it naive under democracy for the ANC-led government, and they would be the ones, I think, who are the main drivers of this approach, was it naive to open our borders and invite people from the rest of the continent, in part due to our gratitude for the solidarity we were shown during the struggle years? The ANC was hosted in many countries. In fact, it wasn't just the ANC, the PAC and its activists were hosted in many African countries. Without the contribution of the rest of the continent in solidarity with us, we might not have achieved our liberation as early or as soon as we did. Many African countries around the continent saw that our liberation was tied to their sense of Africanness. They could not be free as Nigerians, as Ghanaians, as Kenyans until South Africa was free. Was it therefore naive of the ANC, particularly, in embracing that solidarity and saying, we will open our borders and will welcome everyone from around the continent? Was that naive? Or is there something else we need to consider?
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? Today we're playing with 12-year-old Rorisang from Nigel Primary School, wants to be a surgical doctor. Rorisang, you did a test round. What did you score in the test round, Rorisang? Do you remember?
Yes, I got 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. So you're going for 10 out of 10. Full marks this morning, hey?
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you. Here we go. KG, start the clock. What is a male buffalo called? Is it a bull or a sheep?
A bull.
Correct. What is 50 divided by 2?
25.
Correct. True or false? A green mamba is a venomous snake.
True.
Correct. In what sport would you serve an ace when the score is deuce?
Pass.
Tennis. Complete the saying. It's raining what and dogs?
Cats and dogs.
Correct. Which American city is nicknamed the Big Apple?
New York.
Correct. The word glamping is a combination of glamorous and what other word?
Pass.
Camping. True or false? Adjectives are words that describe nouns.
True.
Correct. In movies, the abbreviation PG stands for what guidance?
Page guidance.
Parental guidance. That's what it stands for, parental guidance. Not quite as well as in your test round, Rorisang. You walk away with 6 correct answers. 600 Rand is what you win. And, of course, Rorisang, we do have an extra question for a chance for you to win a hamper from Reach for a Dream. I'm going to ask you a question, and you have to guess whether it's fact or fuzz. Fact, of course, is correct. Fuzz is incorrect. And today's answer for you is fact or fuzz. Will slippers make you 61% cuter? Rorisang?
Yes.
Fact or fuzz? Slippers make you 61% cuter.
Fact.
Fact. That is absolutely the correct answer. That's a chance for you then to win a hamper from Reach for a Dream. Congratulations, Rorisang. Remember, of course, when you buy a sticker and show up for the cause on Slipper Day this Friday, your contribution will make a dream come true for a child with a life-threatening illness. And that is a fact.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702, you're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
5 minutes before 7 o'clock. Time now for Black Sheep Thinking, powered by Camissa Asset Management. Invest differently. Better investors for over 20 years. Camissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP. Breakthrough ideas can look wrong at first. The challenge, of course, is to come over long-held assumptions and step away from accepted consensus, to test popular thinking and to test conviction. That's what Black Sheep Thinking is all about, and it's powered by Camissa Asset Management, sharing stories of people who choose a different path. Today, we bring you our final story in this series, and it comes from the world of innovation. Something that we take for granted these days is the idea of being able to fly around the world, international aviation. Yet, in 1903, this was not commonplace. In fact, not only was it not commonplace, it was an idea that was very much in its nascence. It is, of course, the story of Wilbur and Orville Wright, who focused obsessively on control, inventing wing warping systems, and they tested hundreds of glider prototypes before adding engines. What are we talking about? The first human flight, and that is the story of black sheep thinking, because the Wright brothers, through their efforts, eventually gave birth to what we understand today to be modern aviation.
On December 17, 1903, Wilbur and Orville Wright made history with their first powered, controlled flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Their feat, which was constructed from wood and fabric and powered by a custom-built engine. This milestone marked the beginning of human flight and the future of modern aviation.
This was the first controlled powered flight, and it redefined transportation and launched the aviation industry. In investment markets, herding happens. It leads to crowded optimism or pessimism. Prices are pushed too far up or too far down. At CAMISA, they invest differently, finding opportunities in mispricings. They look up and far ahead, think unconventionally, embrace ambiguity, but have the courage to stand apart even when it's uncomfortable. That's black sheep thinking. For over 20 years, it's been better for investors. CAMISA Asset Management. Invest differently. CAMISA Asset Management is a licensed FSP.
EWN Traffic.
All right, let's catch up with the roads. Amma, what are you seeing?
Well, Bongani, it's so busy around the Sharon Lee area. This is due to an accident that's been reported along Malibongwe Drive towards the N1 exit. Delays coming out of Bayless Drive. And then, of course, if you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, please be on the lookout for delays along the R80 East Mabopane Highway. This is just as you approach the Eskiam Pahlele exit. I'll have more updates coming up in the news. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Right, we're having a multi-layered conversation. I'm asking you, what is your definition of being an African in the context of Africa Month, in the context of Africa Day yesterday, but also being fully aware of the crisis around migration that's unfolding in South Africa. There was that meeting of security cluster ministers yesterday, keeping an eye on various protests that have been unfolding in the country. I asked a question: was it naive for the post-democracy government to have an arms-open approach to the rest of the continent? Have a listen to somebody who might perhaps say no to that. Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, at an event in the Northwest Province yesterday where the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture hosted Africa Day celebrations, and this is what he called for.
You can't go to Europe without a passport, without a visa. It's the laws. When you go to China, there's laws in China. Why must we not have laws? And to all the leaders, you must not be scared to tell the truth. There will never be African unity if African leaders keep on sending the young people to come and take the jobs of our young people. They must look after their own people first. And call me any name in the world. But I'm telling you today, if you don't have papers in this country, you must go home. You can't come here. You commit crimes. You are not documented. We can't find you. Tell me, how is that right? How is me asking for people to be documented and to follow the law, which I've not written? How does that make me xenophobic?
Minister Gayton McKenzie yesterday on Africa Day, no less, calling for people who are undocumented, who are from the rest of the continent, to leave South Africa. As I say, there was that meeting of his cabinet colleagues, part of the security cluster, to deal with the problem. And let's go straight to the news desk to find out more about what they said. It's 7 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Motshekga says budget constraints affect border management and Western Cape authorities continue to battle violent crime. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Defence Minister Angie Motshekga has admitted that budget constraints are hampering government's efforts to fully secure South Africa's borders. But Motshekga says the department is making the most of its limited resources, with some of its strategies already producing results. She was speaking at a media briefing at the Union Buildings in Pretoria following an emergency meeting of security cluster ministers. The meeting was called as the country continues to witness protest action against illegal migration. Motshekga says additional funding would enable the department to fully implement its border security plans.
With a budget which doesn't allow us to do much, I can only come up with a plan. It's only now that I think with a government reprioritization that we have hopes that we'll be able to do other things. And that's what we said to members, that sometimes some of the things we've not done. It's not that we are not aware that we're supposed to do. We have not been able to do that.
At the same time, International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola has called for restraint and sober engagements when African countries discuss the ongoing tensions around illegal migration. He also urged political players to desist from using the protests in a populist manner. Lamola was speaking at a public symposium yesterday focusing on trade, geopolitics and international law. Babalondenze has more.
Minister Ronald Lamola's remarks at the symposium focused mainly on trade, the immigration crisis, and how engagement is required by countries on the continent, which marked Africa Day yesterday. He said discussions on the issue of migration must not be directed towards domestic audiences, where the result could be a more polarized and inflammatory continent. Lamola called for responsible diplomacy in what he described as a politically charged environment.
So we need restraint. We need sober engagements. We need to be informed by data, by evidence, and by statistics, including the various protocols that we've signed.
He called for engagement that does not fan the flames of division and leadership that relies on credible information and rejects disinformation. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Cape Crime Crisis Coalition says sustainable crime reduction can only be achieved through a coordinated response involving both government and civil society. The group's Llewellyn McMaster says it is still too early to determine whether or not sending the army to crime hotspots is working. McMaster was commenting on the ongoing violence affecting crime-ravaged communities across Cape Town, where many residents continue to live in fear. He adds that the slight decline in crime statistics does not change the deeply alarming reality that more than 5,000 people were killed in the space of just 3 months.
We have said it many times over. Sustainable crime reduction requires a comprehensive whole of society, whole of government approach. And that means, in the first place, stronger and more effective law enforcement, including improved detective capacity, intelligence gathering, witness protection, and the removal of illegal firearms from our communities.
DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis says he is expecting a fierce election battle for the city of Cape Town. Hill-Lewis, who is seeking a second term as the city's mayor, believes if the DA lost control over Cape Town, its residents would suffer. He says if the party wants to extend its nearly 20-year control over the metro, it must continue to engage residents about their concerns. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The DA officially launched its voter registration campaign in Cape Town yesterday as it appealed to its supporters not to become too comfortable and neglect to vote. In the 2021 polls, the DA slid below the 60% majority it had enjoyed in the city of Cape Town in the two previous elections. DA leader and current mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says he doesn't take any election performance for granted.
Being comfortable in politics is a very bad thing, so we will work incredibly hard over the next 5 months.
Hill-Lewis says the DA is unapologetic about the city's 40 billion rand infrastructure budget as the city buckles under the strain of sustained migration.
When you slash your infrastructure investment, you end up like the rest of the country's cities. We will never, ever allow that to happen on our watch in Cape Town.
He says the country's two largest sewer pipe projects currently underway in the city will benefit its poorer communities on the Cape Flats And
Venezuela authorities remain on high alert after a riot broke out at a prison on Sunday, with inmates accusing officials of torture. Hundreds of inmates took control of the Barinas Judicial Detention Center, also burning mattresses and sheets. Yesterday, a group of prisoners remained huddled on the roof as mediators attempted to talk them down. For years now, activists have criticized overcrowding, limited food and a lack of medical care in the country's prisons. Prison Director Elvis Makwara Guerrero, who was only in the job for a week, was dismissed over the latest unrest. It's understood he implemented a regime of terror, including beatings, torture and violent searches. Well, gold is trading at $4,528.81 an ounce. The rand is at 16.33 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 19.01 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $98.14 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North. So this is heading towards the city of Tshwane, coming out of the Baku interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns will parade their CAF Champions League trophy through Pretoria today with the main celebration at Church Square after 3 this afternoon. Bafana defender Alberto Makanya misses Philadelphia's match against Inter Miami last night. In that same game, Lionel Messi left the field injured. And the Indian Premier League is at the knockout stage with Royal Challengers Bangalore playing Gujarat Titans this afternoon.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 5 and 8 degrees and highs of between 21 and 23. The top story in EWN this hour, Defence Minister Angie Motshekga has admitted that budget constraints are hampering government's efforts to fully secure South Africa's borders.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock. Well. That top story in Eyewitness News at this hour. Defence Minister Angie Motshekga admitting there simply isn't enough money to fully secure South Africa's borders. So what does that tell you? On the one hand, you've got a minister, a cabinet colleague of Minister Motshekga's, Gayton McKenzie, saying, "We must just leave." On Africa Day, no less. This following a multi-decade approach in which South Africa has embraced its identity as being intertwined with that of the rest of the continent. The truth is, 32 years later, the people who have come to South Africa, who have built lives in this country, aren't going anywhere. March and march will march until they're blue. And I'm not saying the concerns they raise are irrelevant or don't need attention. Of course they do. But as I've long argued, the anger has been misdirected. This has been a crisis of leadership all around the continent, not just in South Africa. And the fact that we now have this admission from the Defence Minister, no less, that there simply isn't enough money to secure our borders, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
There was a thread on X just yesterday, I think it was, with from Hopewell Chinono, who's the celebrated Zimbabwean journalist. And one of the things he argues is that many foreign migrants come to South Africa because a lot of the systems in their countries have failed, whether that's education, whether that's jobs or service delivery or even health, right? And so they come to South Africa. They brave the crocs of the Limpopo, and women go and give birth in hospitals all over Polokwane who are from Zimbabwe. Why? The health system has failed. He makes the point that there wasn't, or there isn't, even as we speak, he says there isn't a single radio cancer treatment machine that functions in Zimbabwe as we speak. Their largest hospital had its maternity ward built in the 1970s under Ian Smith in the days of Rhodesia. There hasn't been a new one built in that hospital since the days of Ian Smith in Rhodesia. But the trick, he also argues, is successive presidents in this country have ignored what happens in Zimbabwe. As an example, wasn't President Ramaphosa just the other day, in fact, visiting, hobnobbing with Mnangagwa at a farm just the other day? We pretend nothing's wrong when ZANU-PF steals elections. We say nothing's wrong when they run that country to the ground. Because we have seen ourselves and styled ourselves as the class prefect on the continent. And so in solidarity, as part of liberation movements, our leaders have looked the other way when there has been dysfunction in our neighboring countries. Where did we think all those people were going to end up? They're here and they're not leaving. And so now that they are here, what do we do?
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
On Friday, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, addressing the Southern African Development Community SADC Foreign Ministers Retreat at the Kruger Park in Mpumalanga, says South Africa continues to face these challenges related to migration, and says, but it is only law enforcement that can deal with it.
Migration itself is not a problem. The challenge facing our country is irregular migration. South Africa is one of the 7 SADC countries out of 16 member states that has ratified the 2005 SADC protocol on the facilitation of movements of persons. Similarly, South Africa supports and aligns itself with the African Union Free Movement of Persons protocol. For this reason, the region and the continent must hold constructive and comprehensive discussions on the push and pull factors of migration, including the related socio-economic, governance, and security dimensions. These discussions must also include the principle of burden sharing, with proper attention given to countries of origin, transit, and destination. The driving forces of irregular migration must be examined honestly and collectively. This should happen in an environment not of blame gaming, but a constructive environment of finding a long-lasting solution for our continent and also for our region.
That may well work for those who may yet come to South Africa, but in every sense, it feels to me that the box has been opened. Pandora is out of the box.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
13 after 7, what you need to know at this hour. Pope Leo XIV has warned that artificial intelligence must be strictly regulated to protect human dignity and to prevent the misuse of it in society and in particular warfare. The Pope, of course, made these remarks as he has now written, or at least presented, his first encyclical called Magnificat Humanitas. It's an uncommon appearance held at the Vatican's Synod Hall. He's rejected the idea that artificial intelligence represents either salvation or damnation for humanity. And he says it's a valuable tool that requires vigilance. It's a far-ranging moral policy for the church. And it's one that has a lot of people arguing and debating about whether technology will serve humanity or replace its responsibility.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. There's that truck stuck on the N1 South. Amo?
Yeah, that's correct, Bongani. It's right near the Baku interchange. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Allendale Road. So if you're traveling out of Midrand, do expect about a 20-minute hold-up just as you approach that turn off. And then if you're heading towards Sunny Hill, do expect delays on Witkoppen Road towards Rivonia Road. Peak time delays there. There's also queuing traffic in Sharon Lee along Malibongo Drive between Beles Drive and the N1 due to an accident. I'll have more updates. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If your plumber was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 27-year-old Lynn mind-blowing 638 Rand on her 2025 Haval Jolion. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
The lights are on, but we are just over a year without load shedding. 375 days and counting. But are our troubles with Eskom over? Not so fast, says former board member and now CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. She warns that candles, generators, traffic lights and missed deadlines may once more become part of daily life. Eskom is fast running out of money, with municipal debt running above 130 billion rand. Unless the utility is paid what it is owed, it simply cannot survive. Busisiwe Mavuso, Business Leadership South Africa CEO, always a pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you for your time this morning.
Bongani, good morning, and thank you for inviting me.
All right, so load shedding has been gone for more than a year. We celebrate that, but it doesn't mean we're out of the woods.
Far from it. It doesn't mean that. But maybe I should start by saying, Bongani, that I really want to give credit to the Eskom CEO, Dan Marukane, and his team for implementing the Generation Recovery Plan. We seeing plant performance being up, unplanned outages are down, but Eskom's operational recovery is real, and that really deserves the recognition.
Right,
but I think the overarching risk, yeah.
So the issue now perhaps is less technical and much more financial. How is municipal debt, Eskom's biggest threat?
You know, municipalities owe Eskom more than 130 billion rands, and Johannesburg alone owes about 5.2 billion rands in arrears. And that is obviously the biggest financial risk to Eskom recovery because it weakens their balance sheet and it threatens the sustainability of their turnaround. You remember that Eskom recently issued a formal notice over Joburg and the City Power for that debt, and they're actually threatening to cut supply to keep bulk points from 8 July 2026 if nothing changes. So imagine having to produce a product that you are not being paid for. Just put Eskom aside. If you were any other business, you sell a product and your customer is not paying you for that product. How are you supposed to keep generating? How are you supposed to keep the business afloat? How are you supposed to keep salaries, pay salaries? How are you supposed to meet your debt obligations and so forth and so forth? And it becomes difficult because obviously this is happening in the government stable. You know, I remember when I was board member, Minister Pravin Goran at the time would tell us that you actually have to be politically astute. You have to be politically palatable, and you have to understand that instructing Eskom to cut off municipalities, to cut off electricity to municipalities is not politically palatable. It actually doesn't make sense. And I remember at that time it was just before the elections, and he would say it would definitely kill us, as the ANC, people would definitely not vote for us. So it puts Eskom in a very difficult position, the fact that they actually have to continue providing supply and transmitting electricity, to cities and municipalities and customers who actually are not paying them. So from a balance sheet perspective, you just won't be able to survive with that scenario.
I mean, 130 billion rand is an extraordinary amount of money. Are you saying then that we got here over time really due to political expedience?
A big part of it is definitely that, because I think if I was allowed to put the necessary interventions in place as a business to do whatever I can to collect my debt, then probably I would have been further along as Eskom. But I'm not a normal business as Eskom because I've got government as a shareholder. And the very same municipalities that I would like to actually cut off their electricity supply are also part of government. The Soweto and the Alexander and the Tembisa, who are not paying me for my service, are part of the electorate.
Yeah.
So I therefore have to get, my matching orders from the shareholder. And if the shareholder says it's not politically palatable, well then tough. It's not politically palatable. You actually cannot do it.
Because this is not a new problem, and it continues to be a growing problem. In other words, we're not just talking perhaps about an amount of money that wasn't paid up to a certain point. The reality is municipalities are not paying even as we speak.
A lot of municipalities are not paying as we speak, and I think Joburg obviously being one of the biggest culprits. So for me, it was actually alarming, disappointing to hear Minister Gadamureo last week, for instance, speak about the fact that he would rate himself a 7 out of 10 in terms of how he's managing the city of Joburg. Far from it. The mayor, the mayor, you mean? Biggest disasters. The mayor, exactly. The mayor, yes.
So hang on. Hold on, though. Someone might be listening to us and say, hang on, I mean, I pay my bill every month. How is it that my municipality then owes Eskom billions?
And I think that is why the municipal reforms that are currently underway with Operation Vulindlela are important. Bongani, you would remember when we were listening to the budget speech, the Minister of Finance was saying that the city of Joburg receives 11.9 billion rands of water revenue, but they only utilize 1.3 billion rands of that revenue to deal with water issues, meaning the maintenance that is required and whatever the case is. The other 10 point whatever billion, we don't know what happens to it. So the municipal reforms that are currently underway are saying we are going to ring fence the revenue, for all these revenue streams. So if I'm paying my city of Joburg a bill which has water, electricity, and whatever the case is, the water revenue that I'm paying is going to be going into a different pot. The electricity revenue is going to be going into a different pot. So that electricity revenue can be utilized to pay Eskom and ensure that the distribution and the network systems work as they should, the cables are maintained and whatever the case is. The water revenue would therefore be also dedicated to ensuring that the infrastructure, for the supply of water in this country is actually tended to. So I think that is the biggest problem. All of this money goes into one pot and you just don't know what happens to it. But of course, the malfeasance and the corruption and not having the right people in place, is also not helping.
So there's allocations from Treasury and, of course, ratepayers pay for services. Where does it go wrong? Is it that municipalities are failing to collect money, or is it that the money is not used for its intended purpose?
It's definitely the fact that the money is not used for its intended purpose.
What is it used for?
I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying, the biggest problem in municipalities is not just the malfeasance, but the incompetence as well. But when you listen to what is coming out of the Majanga Commission, for instance, Bongani, you hear how the Gareth and Misses, of this world, are actually not doing what they are supposed to do. So if you have a CFO like that at a municipality, how are we then supposed to be encouraged as citizens that the monies that we pay is actually used for its intended purpose, as it were? So I think there is a lot that is going wrong in municipalities, in local government broadly, and I think the biggest overhaul and interventions that need to be done in this country to ensure that we can turn the economic trajectory around is at local government. Local government is one of the biggest, weakest links, as things stand.
Where should the finger be pointing? Because if we are saying that the money is received, is collected, but it's not used for its intended purpose, and this is something that has developed over a period of time and is widespread, because although Joburg might be one of the worst culprits, as you say, they are not the only ones, where should the finger be pointing? Because surely somebody has an eye view of all of this, an eagle eye view of all of this, and presumably then is looking the other way. I mean, where does the responsibility of national government, for example, begin and end? Where does provincial government begin and end, apart from what individual mayors or metros must do?
So it's not going to be a difficult exercise to do, because you do have municipalities that are functioning in this country. So if we really wanted to get to the bottom of the problem, it is as simple as taking a municipality that functions and taking a municipality that doesn't, and you just do a comparison. They're operating in the same environment. and they are getting the treasury support and so forth and so forth. So if, I don't know, a city of Cape Town is working and a city of Joburg is not working, what is going wrong? I don't think we can actually take the blame away from the fact that Mayor Morero is not doing what he's supposed to do. I think for me, he's definitely the biggest failure. Because if things are not functioning in an organization, then the people at the top are actually going to have to be looked at to say, you are aware of this incompetence, the failure of service delivery. What are you doing? If your people are not performing and they are not delivering, why are you not actually making sure that the people are delivering? If you don't have the right people, then put the right people in place.
In
so
fairness, though,
hold
on. In fairness to the mayor of Johannesburg, of course, Joburg has its difficulties. His metro is not the only one. This is a problem widespread across the country. We've seen, for example, you praised the Eskom executives and the CEO and the leadership team there, but one of the role players certainly must be the Minister of Electricity, who has helped to be part of the stabilization of Eskom. Does he have a role to play in all of this?
The Minister of Electricity would not have anything to do with the city of Joburg collapsing and failing and not being able to pay their debt. Far from it. Because when you look at how our government is actually structured, national government, provincial government, and local government are sort of like three independent entities, such that the national government can't tell local government what to do. That is why the Minister of Finance actually had to issue that warning, I think about a couple of weeks ago, to say what is happening in the city of Joburg is totally, unacceptable. And he was actually threatening that if things don't improve, I'm going to have to withhold my equitable share that comes from National Treasury. And I think that for me is a fundamental problem, Bongani. It seems as if even if national government can see that the municipality is not functioning, it's like you have to wait for this bus to crash before you intervene. You can see that the bus is going to crash, but the system and the legal framework doesn't allow you to intervene much sooner. So you actually have to wait for the accident to happen for you to do something about it.
Will the bus
and
crash?
Those warning signs.
Will the bus crash? Because, if you want to talk about politically unpalatable, try and switch off the lights and power of residents and ratepayers who actually have been paying.
And I think that becomes unfair, right? But I think put yourself in Eskom's position. What do they do to be able to recover their money? Because one of the institutions is going to fail either way. So either the city fails or Eskom fails. What does Eskom do if they are put in a position where they continuously have to produce a product that they are not being paid for? And what is even funny for me is that Eskom cannot even go to National Treasury to say, before you give the city their equitable share, can you at least withhold the portion that they owe us and pay that portion over to us? They can't do that. National Treasury has to give the money to Joburg, knowing very well that Joburg is not utilizing the money as it should. And Eskom has to wait, like everyone else, to be paid, if they will be paid. And we now know that they actually haven't been paid for a while. So I think the municipal reform and the way the entire system works is really going to have to be fundamentally rethought to ensure that such interventions are done in time and institutions are not put in a difficult position like Eskom is being put in a difficult position.
Gosh.
And interventions and help can actually come much quicker, so that citizens who pay their rates and taxes and their bills don't have to be subjected to the incompetence and the mediocrity that they're actually being subjected to at the moment.
All right, Busisiwe Mavuso, Business Leadership South Africa, CEO.
EWN Business.
Let's talk cement. Mutero Paripe, PPC expecting overall earnings to jump as much as 81%. Are we building?
Yeah, we're building. It seems it's working out for them. They've got a recovery plan as well. PPC shares went up 2.5% on Monday after the firm said its turnaround strategy is continuing to deliver positive results. The construction and material group says earnings are expected to rise strongly for the while overall earnings could jump up by as much as 81% compared to last year. Now, the group says the improvement was driven by better operational efficiency, tighter cost controls, and a stronger focus on profitable sales under its Awaken the Giant recovery plan. PPC says that despite a stronger rand creating some foreign exchange losses, its financial position remains quite protected.
Oil prices mixed this morning. Deal or no deal?
The sentiment, Bongani, as the U.S. and Israel negotiations continue, oil prices were mixed this morning as U.S. military operations in southern Iran and President Donald Trump's mixed messaging on the negotiations between Tehran and Washington kept traders on edge. The July futures for delivery for the international benchmark Brent crude oil gaining 2% this morning to $98 a barrel. The U.S. military said it conducted self-defense strikes in southern Iran today during negotiations. So you never really know. It's never ending.
All right, your indicators?
The rand, 16 rand 35 against the US dollar, weakening this morning, 19.01 against the euro, 22 rand 3 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is also in the red, $4,530 an ounce, while platinum is down 1% at $1,950. Brent crude now at $95 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Bali Dlamini, he's a fixer, but he's no Olivia Pope.
Not even close, Bongani. A very good morning. Controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mogotzi's release on bail is being challenged by the state after he allegedly tried to bribe an official and gave the incorrect home address. Mogotzi appeared at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court yesterday for his formal bail application. He is accused of staging an assassination attempt on his life in November last year. Mogotzi is charged with perjury, defeating the ends of justice, unlawful possession of a firearm, ammunition and the discharging of a firearm in a public space. Thabiso Koba reports.
During his first court appearance, the state showed no indication it would be opposing Brown Mogotzi's release on bail. However, the state now says Mogotzi has not been cooperating. It says he gave the wrong home address to investigating officers, did not disclose all his previous convictions, and tried to bribe the investigating officer. State prosecutor Tami Mpekana says his release on bail would not be in the interest of justice.
The applicant approached the investigating officer with a suggestion. Is there something that I can do for you not to oppose bail? This indicates that the applicant showed to undermine the functionality of the law.
However, Mogotzi's lawyer William Sekhaja says there has been a number of honest misunderstandings in his client's interactions with the police.
I deny that I attempted to bribe the investigating officer in this matter. Perhaps my communication with him must have been misunderstood.
The matter has been postponed to Thursday to allow the investigating officers to travel to Mahikeng in the northwest to verify Mogotzi's home address. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Some Cape Town civic organizations have shown support for African migrants, accusing anti-illegal migration protesters of unfairly blaming them for South Africa's socio-economic challenges. The groups picketed outside the St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town in solidarity with migrants living in the country yesterday. The demonstration follows a wave of nationwide protests against undocumented migrants. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Civic organizations supporting African migrants have rejected claims that migrants are responsible for the socio-economic challenges in South Africa. The Ubuntu Rural Women and Youth Movement says government has a duty to protect African migrants from persecution and discrimination. The organization's Wendy Pekier says the country's social and economic problems cannot be blamed on foreign nationals.
There are unemployment, there are high levels of violence in this country, there are issues, but we cannot blame it on our fellow brothers and sisters, people that come from Africa because life is hard there.
Pekier has called for unity and dialogue, warning that hostility towards migrants threatens social cohesion and African solidarity. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Fighting has resumed between government troops and the M23 militia in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The nation has been scarred by violence from various armed groups for more than 3 decades now. Since 2021, the M23 rebels have seized large parts of territory and fighting has been stepped up since the start of 2025. The DRC is also ground zero for an Ebola outbreak currently, which has sparked an international health alert by the World Health Organization. The illness has caused 204 deaths and 867 suspected cases. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Sharon Lee along Malibongwe Drive. This is due to an earlier accident. Delays between Bellis Drive and the N1. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 South heading towards the Buccleuch turnoff. That's due to a truck that is stuck in the middle lane. Please be on the lookout there. Delays from New Road. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N3 South between the Glulies interchange and Van Buren Road due to an accident.
The top story in EWN, controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mogotsi bribed an official and gave the incorrect home address.
That's Amanda, before she got naked. When the power tripped, Amanda felt more helpless than when her mom-in-law called her lasagna different. So Amanda got naked. She got car and home insurance at a lower premium and can now call an electrician anytime via the Naked app. There we go. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Managing your workforce shouldn't be complicated. That's why businesses choose Onacy, a proudly South African cloud-based payroll and HR solution. From payroll and e-recruitment to performance management and self-service tools, we streamline the way businesses handle their people. Scalable, secure, and always online, our system evolves with your needs because your workforce deserves the best. Switch to Onacy and experience payroll and HR done right. Visit onacy.com today.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Every week, millions of South Africans do the same thing. They pick numbers, they take a chance, and for a moment, they dream big. Now the National Lottery is entering a new chapter. On Tuesday, 26 May, Clement Manyatela will be in conversation with Sizakaya Holdings, the new operator of the National Lottery. Listen to find out what changes and what you can expect from this new era of the National Lottery. The Clement Manyatela Show, in conversation with Sizakaya Holdings. Tuesday on 702. Sizakaya is licensed and regulated. No persons under the age of 18 permitted to play. Play responsibly.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani. I love your guest today. I love your guest today. She knows her story in and out. It's just so refreshing to hear somebody that you ask a question and they respond with facts and exactly is how things are happening on the ground. Don't you just wish we had so many people like this in the government sphere? Oh my God. Very brilliant interview. It paints the whole picture as it is.
Good morning, Bongani. Look, we are paying for electricity through the municipalities. I understand that the municipalities are making money out of the sales of electricity. But it is clear that what we pay to the municipality is not going to Eskom. So why can't we pay our electricity directly from Eskom? Because in any way, the money that the municipality is making out of selling electricity is not benefiting anyone, it's benefiting criminals. Thank you very much. Abraham Soshanguve.
I think it points to a wider crisis, a broader crisis of leadership across our society. And it links to all the other issues we've been discussing this morning, whether it's migration or whether it's defense. It's the idea that we watch things crumble, right? We watch things crumble. We watch amounts balloon. I mean, 130 billion rand owed to Eskom. As Busi Mavuso rightly points out, what other business, what other entity would produce goods or services and simply not get paid and be expected to continue to function optimally. And we watch this wreck happen over a long period of time, and nobody does anything about it.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Richard, who is in Daverton. Richard, please give us today's answer.
Zakhele Madida.
Zakhele Madida. And tell me, Richard, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Absolutely.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to 702 and Outsurance. All right, there you have it. Richard says the answer is Zakhele Madida. What, pray tell, might be the question? Call us if you know on 011 8830 702.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, I have the words ticker tape parade for you. Celebrations in order.
Absolutely, and I'm glad Mamelodi Sundowns are doing it sooner rather than later, because I think everybody's just on such a high. They touched down from Morocco last night, and they're going to take their trophy through Pretoria today. It's scheduled to start in Nalmepius around 10 a.m. It's going to go through Mamelodi. It's going to end with a huge celebration in Church Square around 3:30 p.m. Sundowns midfielder Jaden Adams.
Very emotional. I think we deserve it after a very difficult season. I think to end it off like this, it's just to be proud of the team.
And in just over 2 weeks from now, we'll have the start of the FIFA World Cup. Fox Sports reporting Bafana defender Alberto Makanya missed Philadelphia's game with Inter Miami last night due to an undisclosed injury. Makanya's in the Bafana preliminary World Cup squad. In that same game, Lionel Messi playing for Miami left the field with a hamstring injury, later diagnosed as muscle fatigue. Spain head to the World Cup with Yamin Lamal, but for the first time ever, there's not a single Real Madrid player in the squad. And FIFA has approved for Iran's training base to be moved from the USA to Mexico. Iran was initially given Tucson as their base. They will still play New Zealand and Belgium in LA and then Egypt in Seattle. The Betway Premiership is wrapped, but there's still that promotion relegation battle to be settled. There's 3 teams who will be fighting it out: Cape Town City, Milford and Magesi. It starts today with the first game, City against Milford. In tennis, still no upset in the first round of Roland Garros. The women's top seeds Rybakina, Anisimova and Swiatek all cruised yesterday. In the Telkom Netball League on the go at Ellis Park, Gauteng Derby ended with the defending champions Fireballs beating the Jaguars 44-26. The Aloes getting only their second win of the competition. They shocked the Flames 52-46. And in the Indian Premier League cricket, it's reached the knockout stage finally. Qualifier 1 today, Royal challengers Bangalore against Gujarat Titans. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes to 8. This EWN Traffic brought to you by the House of Citroen. The all-new Citroen Basalt is here. Book a test drive at citroen.co.za. That crash on the N3 South. Amo, is it a bad one?
That's correct, Bongani. It's really a horrible one in the Bedford View area. It happened near Van Buren Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Linksfield Road. Also, do remember the peak time delays at this time of the morning, so please be patient if you're using the N3 South. If you're heading towards Germiston and you want to avoid this backlog, you can use Edenville Road through Edenville. While traveling on the N17 West, we've got roadworks taking place between the R23 and Osborne Road, causing some issues there. Speaking of the N17, we've got an accident reported just before the Atlas Road exit. It's also slowing down traffic, so please approach with care. And then traveling towards the city of Tshwane, expect delays on the N1 North approaching the Braakfontein interchange. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The all-new Citroen Basalt is here with keyless entry, wireless Apple and Android CarPlay. It's made to look good and make life easy. And that 470-litre boot, it's ready for every outfit change and then some. The all-new Citroen Basalt Coupe SUV from 354,000 Rand. Register now for the limited launch deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Book a test drive today at citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is Zakhele Madida, let's go to the lines. Lito in Bryanston, what's the question?
Good morning, Bongani. The question is, which South African artist
was born today in 1981. He is also known as Zakes Bantwini.
Yes, indeed. Grammy Award-winning maestro, singer, songwriter, producer, DJ, businessman, an all-round nice guy. Happy birthday to Zakes Bantwini. Lito, that means you walk away with 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Oh, man. Hey, listen, we still have some of the best house music anywhere in the world. We may not have money for Eskom, hey? Well, we got the music. Happy birthday, Zakes Bantwini.
Outsurance can't improve your braai skills, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer in FSP. T's and C's online.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
Well, nothing brings South Africa together like sport, whether it's watching, playing, coaching, from the couch or gathered around a braai. Sport is shared as part of our national language. And that's why Johnson Workwear is giving away 100,000 free limited edition South African supporter jerseys. And with huge tournaments coming up, it's the perfect time to show your colors again. Entering is super simple. You go to johnsonworkwear.com, pop in your details, and you're in the running to win one of the jerseys. And once you've entered, take a screenshot, post it, and tag at johnsonworkwear_official and use hashtag supporter jersey to boost your chances of winning. Now, if you win, you'll get an email and you can collect your jersey from one of 30 Johnson Workwear stores nationwide. So show up and show your pride with a high quality, beautifully designed limited edition South African supporter jersey. And their sizes are available from extra small all the way to 5 times XL. These, of course, are adult sizes. All courtesy of Johnson Workwear.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
If you're CEO or CFO looking to grow across Africa, then the next 60 seconds are for you. Because in that short time, one bank in Africa will process over 300 million rand. That's 430 billion rand every day. Right now, we have 17.7 trillion rand of the continent's assets under custody management, making us far and away the largest bank by assets in Africa, which is why in 2025, we were voted Best Bank for Corporates in Africa at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So, if you're looking for a bank with scale, we're easy to find. We are in 21 key markets across Africa, and we've been on the continent for 163 years, so we are not going anywhere. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
KwaZulu-Natal is turning up the heat this winter. Catch the Clement Manyatela show live from the launch of KZN's winter season campaign this Friday with the KZN Tourism and Film Authority. Discover what makes KZN the ultimate winter getaway. From the rolling green hills of the KZN Midlands to scenic coastlines, rich culture, unforgettable food and family adventures. Wazobona, it's showtime in KZN with the KZN Tourism and Film Authority this Friday on 702.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela. 702.
Let's catch up with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
You're laughing as we start talking. I'm not sure what you're laughing at, but tell me about your decisions in your 40s, Kabazela. You're in your 40s,
I was laughing
right?
at the jingle. It's so good you have to play it twice.
Only
but
for you.
Yeah, good to have you back as well, Bongles. So your 40s. I mean, if you think about your 40s, it's an interesting period of your life in terms of your age, because things can happen in your 40s, and perhaps, you've maybe figured things out, and now you're like, okay, this is what I want in my life. And if you look at
it was so long ago, hey?
Yeah, for some. But I mean, if you look around when you were in your 40s, or maybe you are in your 40s, and you compare yourself to other people that are in their 40s, it's very, very different. Like some of us could be raising toddlers, others may be divorced or getting married for the first time, or having children for the first time, or maybe are sipping on Aperol spritzes, living their best lives, and, you know, they are child-free couples. Very, very, very different lives that people will live at 40. And I came across this woman. Her name is Dr. Troy Lee, and she's a mindset coach. And she makes this point about your 40s. Let's take a listen.
In your 40s, there's going to come a time in your life where you're going to have to choose between the life you know and the life that you want. And it's very important that you choose the one that scares you.
It's quite the statement there, I think, from her. Choosing the one that scares you. And maybe, you know, you often get stuck in something and you think, well, this is it. This is my life and I'm doing that. And I'm just reading some of the comments here that people have written. And it's basically, I'm a 49-year-old, first-time college student. Another one says here, 47, and I'm choosing to divorce after 30 years. It's terrifying, yet exhilarating at the same time.
Whoa, hold on, 47.
Yes, I'm 47, and I'm
Divorcing
choosing...
after 30 years.
After 30 years...
So you got married at 17.
Yeah, actually, let me read that again. Yeah, but I mean, I think you get the point, right?
You can undo your bad decisions clearly in your 40s.
You could. But that's what 40s are about. I mean, you know, there comes a time where you make decisions. So I want to hear from our 702 listeners this morning. What were some of those things that you decided to do in your 40s? And how different are your 40s compared to other people in their 40s? Like, you know, I don't have children in my 40s, and a lot of my friends do have children. So, yeah, what are yours?
Well, I think one of the things you have to absolutely do when you are in your 40s is to focus on health and wellness, whether that's physical health or mental health. I certainly think those are some of the decisions I took in my 40s. Was it a profound moment? Was it your before and after? And what did you decide to do differently with your life in your 40s? That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702
Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, I suppose you look forward to the day sometime in the distant future when you will be in your 40s, hey?
Yes, I do look forward to it, Bongani. And you know, I always give you this, I always tell you about this. I believe in using your time and your youth and your strength of your youth while you are still young. Do everything that you possibly can. So I am looking forward to my 40s, Bongani. And I believe that the choices that I have made will make my 40s
We'll stand you in good stead. Yeah, we'll stand you in
Enjoyable.
good stead.
Yeah.
I suspect you're right. What other feedback do you have?
Well, Bongani, listeners are reacting to your question this morning about what it feels to be African.
What makes you an African?
And listeners believe that
Wait. What makes you, Rupfiwa Kone, an African? How do you define your sense of being African?
My ability to communicate across the board, Bongani. I didn't just limit myself to just my own language. I speak 10 official languages of South Africa, Bongani.
Oh, wow.
I sort of understand a little bit of Shona because I'm Venda, and we do have brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe and so on and so forth. So knowing how to interact across the board, speak to different nationalities, greet people in their own languages, Bongani.
Greet me in mine?
Molweni, Bongani.
Very well done. All right, what does 702 Landers say?
Well, they believe that Africa's strength has always been in its people, cultures, shared history, and the true progress will come when we choose unity over division. And in South Africa, we do understand that we have these kind of tensions that we face because of unemployment, poverty, inequality, crimes, the pressures of public service, and all those types of frustrations that we then direct to migrants. But it is because of the frustrations that we face in South Africa.
Yeah.
If we fix those and we focus on working together to resolve our challenges,
I'm
we'll be in
still
a better
asking the
place.
question around identifying ourselves as African, or is it something that we're happy to have a conversation about when we think about what it means in the South African context, or do we see it as part of a wider continental identity and therefore solidarity with the rest of the continent? I'm still asking the question, was it naive in the post-democracy era to embrace solidarity with the rest of the continent, or have the failures been elsewhere? And does that mean the anger is misdirected? Let's talk.
This is EWN.
Talks to try and find a solution to Joburg's Eskom debt to be held, and fuel retailers struggle to make ends meet. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Talks aimed at finding a solution to the city of Joburg's 5.2 billion rand debt owed to Eskom are set to continue today. Electricity Minister Josian Ramokgopa will be locked in a meeting with Joburg Mayor Dada Morero and Eskom CEO Dan Marokane. It follows a warning from Eskom that it would be reducing, interrupting or terminating the city's supply if the money is not paid. Jabuli Limbata reports.
Eskom has told the city of Joburg and City Power that their deadline for the 5.2 debt repayment is June. The power utility says both these entities have failed to honor their responsibilities, which is why they face the risk of a complete cut-off. The announcement has caused some panic from residents as winter creeps in. However, Minister Josian Ramokgopa has committed to offering a helping hand to resolve the matter. Today, talks to try and find a solution to the problem will be held at City Power headquarters in Johannesburg. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
South Africa's security cluster ministers have called on SADC countries to step up their game in enforcing their immigration laws. The call follows an urgent meeting in Pretoria between government, political parties and groups leading protests over illegal migration. After that meeting, Defence Minister Angie Motshekga made a stark admission, saying South African authorities are sometimes forced to watch as people leave neighbouring countries without even being processed.
When I visit Paris, I sit in Popo or using AUVs. I can see police in Zimbabwe watching their people crossing our borders illegally without them stopping them. So it's for us to go to them to say it can't be our responsibility alone. Let's work with you as neighbors to protect our borders, both sides.
While Home Affairs Deputy Minister Njabulo Nzuza agreed that some South Africans cannot tackle the issue alone, Nzuza also revealed that the Border Management Authority is struggling with serious resource shortages.
A person must not leave their country because they say, I am hungry, I need to get a job elsewhere. People must not leave their country because they are being persecuted. And if the countries which are sending illegal immigrants and migrants are not dealing with the issues in their own countries that results to people moving away in these countries, they should be hiding themselves, in shame.
While fuel retailers say they are suffering amid soaring fuel price hikes, the South African Petroleum Retailers Association says retailers are only making R2 off every litre of fuel sold. Chairman Henry van der Merwe says motorists are driving less and using other modes of transport, and retailers are selling less petrol.
If we sell fuel at 25 Rand a litre, we get 2 Rand, and if we sell it at 40 Rand a litre, we get 2 Rand because it's a margin. And that's where the unfortunate situation comes in. So when the high fuel price hits us, the litres go down, and that's where the problem comes in. So the fuel retailers are really suffering.
Johannesburg Transport MMC Kenny Kunene says plans are underway to tackle the impact of illegal mining across parts of the West Rand. Kunene conducted an oversight visit in Roodepoort yesterday following the discovery of massive sinkholes and illegal mining tunnels in both residential residential areas as well as the CBD. He says a multidisciplinary approach involving the JMPD, SAPS and the provincial government will be needed to address the growing crisis.
Now, not only is the infrastructure of the city of Johannesburg damaged, but also the residents of Vetpoiki have been deprived of security.
At the same time, Kunene has raised concerns over the theft of copper cables at traffic signals across the city, saying this continues to cost the municipality millions of rands. He says the city is now introducing new technology in an attempt to protect traffic infrastructure and reduce vandalism.
But as JRA, we are now using thinner cables because they want copper. So we are using thinner cables, which is discouraging them because when they take those cables to scrapyards, they are of no use. But we are also using alternative energy to power some of our traffic signals.
And in the U.S., around 50,000 Southern California residents are expected to return to their homes after the threat of a toxic chemical tank explosion was eliminated. The residents were evacuated last week following concerns that the flammable chemical in the tank could explode. The tank contains 26,000 litres of a volatile liquid which is used to make plastics. The chemical is irritating to the skin, eyes and mucous membranes in humans. The crisis began late last week when authorities detected a leak in the tank and subsequently a crack. Gold is trading at $4,528.81 an ounce. The rand is at 16.31 to the dollar, 22.06 to the pound, 19.02 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $98.13 a barrel.
In Kempton Park, there's been an accident on the R21 South. It happened right near Atlas Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns fans will line the streets of Pretoria this afternoon as their team parades the Champions League trophy. Fresh injury concerns for Bafana defender Alberto Macania, as well as Argentina's captain Lionel Messi. And the Indian Premier League's at the knockout stage with Royal Challengers Bangalore against Gujarat Titans in a qualifier this afternoon.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN, the talks aimed at finding a solution to the city of Joburg's 5.2 billion rand debt owed to Eskom are set to continue today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, there are talks underway to try and find a solution to the city of Joburg's 5.2 billion rand debt owed to Eskom. A little earlier, we spoke to former Eskom board member, who's now the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa, Busisiwe Mavuso, who says there is a failure of leadership. In fact, she says she was told by a former minister that the idea of cutting people off who were not paying was politically unpalatable. How much then is it a reflection of a wider crisis of leadership? The other story you heard about in Eyewitness News was our security cluster ministers calling on SADC countries to step up their game in enforcing immigration laws. Is that what will solve our immigration problem? Many of the people that are already here will not be leaving. I don't care how much march. They'll march until they're blue. They can march until March next year. They'll still be here. What do you mean our neighbors must up their game to enforce immigration laws? Many of those countries are only too relieved to see their citizens come to South Africa. Minus a few problems for them. They don't have to educate those people. They don't have to look after their health. They don't have to create environments in which those people find jobs in their countries. But they'll keep sending remittances back home. They'll keep sending money back home, and those in power will benefit. Why would they step up their game?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Does it make sense, Muteo? Step up your game and enforce immigration laws when you are the beneficiary of people breaking those laws?
No, it doesn't. And I think there's benefits on both sides. Take the Zimbabwe example, for instance. If they don't have to think about fixing the healthcare system, if people cross over to South Africa and they don't have to do the actual work of building the infrastructure, then so be it. On the other end, this side of town, if you are part of the Department of Home Affairs and you are corrupt and gain so much from people paying for some of these documents, then obviously you don't want to fix the system. So there's a lot of people benefit, and until we deal with that, then on the ground in our communities and our townships where we feel the most pressure, then no one's really going to fix that problem.
But how long have we watched this movie? Right? Let's go back 26 years now, when the crisis first erupted in Zimbabwe, when Robert Mugabe, by all accounts, lost that election. What happened?
Turn the other cheek.
We turned the other way. We looked the other way. We feted Robert Mugabe as this hero of Africa, even as he dismantled that country block by block, piece by piece. And so when there was a flood of Zimbabweans into South Africa, what did we expect? Even now, Emerson Mnangagwa presides over a virtual dictatorship in Zimbabwe. I couldn't say the things I get to say about our president in Harare. Are you crazy? I couldn't. So when we find our fellow Africans flooding into this country, notwithstanding the border issues that Mateo has just highlighted, but even from a political point of view, why on earth would they listen to ministers saying, up your game? We and our leadership have been a part of creating this monster.
Good morning, Bongani and team. How much money is spent every year on immigration? How much money is spent every year on housing immigration inmates and transporting them to their respective countries, or even providing food and accommodation? How much money is spent on that? I think what we should be concentrated on now is using that money to secure our borders, and then we can fight the undocumented after. But wasting money on deporting undocumented immigrants, and then after you drop them in their country, a day later they are already back in South Africa, or even 2 hours later they're already in Limpopo, and it doesn't help, and this will keep going on and on.
It's a lift, man. Come on. It's a lift. If you don't have bus fare to go back home, it's a lift, right? Isn't it? Who is the most artful dodger you know? The person who can come up with excuses and lies at the drop of a hat. I'm calling him the cat with 9 lies. This Bron Mukhotsi story yesterday, of course, it's just really extraordinary. Did you watch his appearance yesterday? He's accused of all sorts, including the excuses he gave to the investigating officer. Remember when he claimed there'd been an assassination attempt on him last year? 11 bullets pumped into his car. Then the investigating officer wants to take a statement from him about that very matter, because a forensic report suggested his story didn't quite add up. He wouldn't give them his address, he wouldn't give them his number. When they finally traced him, he was in the Northwest, and he asked for 2 hours because he was at the doctor. 2 hours later, he was called, and he said, no, I need more time, I need another 2 hours. After 2 hours, he said, give me another hour. After that hour, he was phoned, and he said, oh, no, now I'm on my way to a Sangoma. Then they arranged another appointment on a different day. And on the appointed day, he didn't show up. When he was called, he said, oh, now I'm at a funeral. And on he gave them the runaround. And that's how they got that warrant of arrest. And that's why he was in the dock answering questions. Kalamadoda yesterday, hey? Mateo?
Yeah, I don't think with him you don't really call it a silver tongue. Umashaya, man. I don't know how to explain that.
He's a hustler.
Yeah, it's just Umashaya. I don't have an English word for it. It's just it's not a silver tongue, man.
But if you want to go to the January 8th statement,
he'll get you there.
He'll get you there. John, you're in Sandton. You say we need order in our country.
Yes, Bongani, kuzokhala amadoda masebahamba. Okay, anyway, look, ministers are doing. Because with much and much only on the ground and the people on the ground, you won't get this thing resolved. Once you've got a political solution, ambassador to ambassador, country to country, it will work.
What's the political solution? What's the political solution?
Okay, here is the political solution. The ministers are coming in now. They're saying, guys, do what you have to do on your side. We'll do our part. If you don't do, your ambassador, we don't want an ambassador from your country coming into South Africa because that's part of the thing that they must sort out.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Let me tell you something. What is happening right now is going to solve that problem. But you don't solve it by just taking the people and dropping them there. You must then strengthen what happens at the border.
Yeah, but Andrew Mutseka says we don't have enough money to do that.
Well, do what?
To strengthen the borders. All right, John, we're losing you there. I'm not sure. I really wanted to hear more of what you had to say. But as part of that security cluster ministers meeting, a number of things came out of it, one of which was that the defense minister says part of the problem with our porous borders is that there is not enough budget to deal with that crisis. But one of the things they think is going to help deal with this is to ask their counterparts in the region, in other SADC countries, in other words, to enforce immigration laws. And I'm saying, will that work? I mean, if you're a country that doesn't have to provide all of this to your citizens and they can go elsewhere, get that sorted there, and if they get jobs in that country, they bring back remittances from which you benefit in terms of taxation, why would you enforce them breaking laws when it benefits you? Would you? Or is that just something we say to grab a headline and to not let March and Gayton McKenzie steal our thunder?
EWN Traffic.
17 after 8, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. What's happening in Kempton Park? Amo?
Bongani, there's an accident seen along the R21 South right near Atlas Road. It's causing heavy delays. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N1 South. Remember that stationary truck right in the middle lane is still causing delays towards the Baklu interchange. Delays coming out of New Road, about a 20-minute hold up there. Plus, there's roadworks along this route. So if you want to avoid this backlog, please use Pretoria Main Road. There's also queuing traffic on the M1 South between Grayston Drive and Halton Drive. Please approach with care. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsman can't help you make small talk with the other school moms, but they can help you get to the game on time. Seeing them on your route just makes you feel better. The Outsurance pointsman easing traffic congestion so everyone gets to where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag pointsmanlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
And it's 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. And of course, if you've been watching this season of MasterChef South Africa, I can tell you now, Dr. Phil Munda wasn't just any other contestant. He was really, I think, the heartbeat in many senses in that kitchen. The Johannesburg General Surgeon, known for calm energy, kindness, but also beautifully crafted dishes. I mean, week after week, round after round, he was one of the chefs to beat until, of course, a dessert disaster. And that's why you're here in the studio.
Yeah, it turns out that I'm not the best baker, hey?
I was saying to the team, I feel partly responsible because in the episode where all the radio personalities came to judge, we didn't vote for your team
it's your
as
fault.
a group because you wouldn't then have been in the elimination challenge had we done so.
I came here today to confront you about this because you said you love the duck dish.
I did.
But then what happened?
Well, you see, I wasn't the only one who was making that decision. I mean, before we even go back to that dessert disaster, as I said, week in, week out, you were a consistent top performer, even when you were doing ikota. And you were saying, oh, I'm a doctor. This is not really very healthy. But still, yours was one of the best kotas on display.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a really good idea to reinvent it. Take it out of a South African context. I love cooking Italian food, so I brought a lot of Italian flavors. Let's also just say that the public at large were not happy with me. I got a lot of social media messages. This is not a kota. But it was really fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed that challenge a lot.
I mean, one of the things that I think is fantastic about MasterChef is that it's both, in a sense, artistry, but there's also incredible skill required in terms of the execution. And I would imagine, as a surgeon, you have to be meticulous about what you are doing, and you're used to being able to perform under pressure in a similar-ish kind of environment.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely helped me on the show. As a surgeon, and I worked in trauma a lot, you have to be the most calm person in the room when everything is falling apart. You have to know how to follow steps to get to the end result that you want. And I think that's why in the pressure test, for example, I did quite well, because if you give me a list and you give me time, I'll get it all done.
Where did your love of cooking and food come from?
So when I moved out of Res, when I was studying in Cape Town, moved into digs with 5 of my friends, no one could cook. We all paired up, and you have to cook to survive. Learned a few basic things. I then started watching MasterChef Australia, and I was like, wow, look at all the things that people can do with food. And that just kind of took off into like a journey of its own.
One of the things I was told when I was on set was the South African version of MasterChef is very much modeled on the Australian version, but that in fact our set is bigger. Our kitchen is bigger, our pantry is bigger. How difficult is it to understand the difference between what you see on screen and the reality of being in the kitchen?
It's really a world apart. I would say I encourage anyone who wants to be on the show to apply for it, but it really is. Watching it at home and actually performing it is so different. The one thing which makes a huge difference is that clock. You have a 1 hour challenge, but in that 1 hour, you must still shop for your groceries. You must still fetch all your appliances.
And the judges must still watch you making mistakes.
They must come talk to you. You must still plate up beautifully. So really a 1 hour challenge is like a 40-minute challenge.
Was there a moment where you knew it was over before the announcement?
Yes, actually. Look, there was a few things went wrong for me in this last cook, obviously. When my pastry came out unbaked, I already knew I was in trouble. When they were finished and they were warm, but I had no choice but to start building it. And in front of me, it was just sliding off to the side. And, at that point, when people started getting their feedback, I just had a feeling, everyone had relatively positive feedback. And I actually, at one stage, I just looked up at Jashen and I said, it's done. And then I just started to just drink in the set, the people, the time that I'd spent there. And I think you can even see it at the end when I get given my elimination.
Yeah.
I'm very much at peace. And I'm like,
you've accepted your fate.
Say my name. It's time.
Well, Dr. Phil, it's been an incredible journey. We've loved you on this season of MasterChef.
Thank you so much.
But particularly because, as I said in my introduction, your calmness under pressure, but your passion for cooking and those beautifully crafted dishes. Congratulations on the journey.
Thank you so much, Bongani. Thanks for having me.
All right. If you've been watching MasterChef, things are coming very much to a head now, but Dr. Phil Munda exiting the MasterChef kitchen. Stay watching every Sunday on ETV at 6 p.m.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam Gilchrist, let's start in China. Rising anger there after a fatal coal mine explosion.
Yeah, a tragedy from 3 days ago. 82 people were killed and 120 injured. And if it was just a one-off thing, then awful enough. This happened at a coal mine in Shanxi province, the heart of China's huge mining industry. They mine like no one else. But the problem is that now, and this is sort of gathering pace in China, I gather, that this harks back to 20 years or so. Whilst it's the worst tragedy in 15 years, many people feel like it's the early 2000s when there was just so many regular, deadly coal mining disasters in China. So the questions are being asked, albeit there are problems with China's tightly controlled internet. People might ask questions, but they don't always get to share them. But it's still a growing tide with officials saying the cause of the disaster is under investigation, but plenty of people saying they feel that the company that owns this privately operated coal mine committed serious illegal safety violations. It used to happen. It's not meant to happen now in China, but boy, do they need to get it right and get the investigation right as well.
We were talking about kitchens just a moment ago, Adam, but gosh, can you stand the heat in Europe?
Yeah, it's unexpected because we are still technically in spring in Europe. And so what we have now is a powerful upper level subtropical ridge. You can tell I've been on a weather app, can't you? A highly anomalous and powerful heat dome, as they call it, like a sort of cloche to keep your food hot in a restaurant. So we've got a cloche over Europe. I've been going from Poland through Germany, the Benelux countries, France, Spain, Portugal, the UK, and even a bit of Ireland. And the result is record temperatures for this time of the year. So already 30 plus in most places. But in the UK, for instance, yesterday here in London, it got to 35 degrees, which is, I mean, it's hot enough, but at this time of the year, it's a record hottest day ever in May. It was also 21 degrees overnight, which makes it officially tropical. We are officially tropical as we stand, and more to come. But it's the way this dome is not shifting, and not for probably another few days anyway. It's just keeping all the heat in. But it's even worse in India, where it's not so much a heat dome as a pollution dome. So I'm afraid poor old Delhi, which does get the sort of twin whammy of both heat and pollution, 45 degrees in Delhi. Again, for this time of the year, very unusual.
Well, at least in Delhi, they've got air conditioning, Adam. I'm not sure what you guys are going to do there in London, in the UK.
Yeah, have to get in the car. Yeah, that's it.
Let's hop across the ocean, as it were, and let's go to Mexico City. Preparations underway now for the World Cup.
Yeah, 2 weeks and 2 days to go. Mexico City hosting Mexico versus South Africa, of course, in the opening game. And there is a record-breaking mural, which is part of the sort of let's get going for this. It's recognized as the world's largest wall painting, spanning 200 square meters. Obviously, it was several artists who painted it. One would have taken a lifetime to have done it. Several artists, but entirely with brushes and acrylic paints and so forth. Lovely colors, intricate details, all sorts of lovely Aztec designs and so forth. But it includes in it a kind of slightly sanitized version of Mayan football. And I love the legend of Mayan football, which is that a couple of celebrated heroes of the Mayan culture were playing ball, and the keeper of the underworld got disturbed by the noisy nature of it, caused a fight when the keeper popped out, after which a Mayan hero, Hunahpu, was decapitated and snakes emerged from his body, and they played football with his skull. Once upon a time, football really was a matter of life and death. And now we know, of course, it's even more important than that.
Yes, indeed. So 2010 was our home game, and 2026 will be our away game against Mexico. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
28 after 8 business news. Let's wrap up the morning's business. Mutero Khwaripe, retailer Pepkor delivering 12.1% growth in profits.
Yeah, while other retailers are talking about a strained South African economy and consumer that's not spending, a budget retail group, Pepkor, says revenue hit 54 billion rand, up 13%. Profit is also looking good for the firm, with headline earnings up more than 10%. Pepkor operates primarily as a cash-based business, with cash sales representing approximately 84% of its total retail sales mix, while the remaining 16% of sales are facilitated through a retail credit. Now, cash generated from operations was up 4.1 billion rand, increasing by 15%. Kosa Pepco owns brands like Ackermans, Refinery, Take It Town, and Shoe City.
But if you really want to cement your profits, you think that's impressive enough, get into the construction and materials industry.
Yeah, PPC are reporting solid results as well. Their shares up 2.5% on Monday after the firm said its turnaround strategy is continuing to deliver positive results. The construction and material group says earnings are expected to rise strongly for the financial year ending in March. PPC expects headline earnings to increase by at least a third, while overall earnings could jump by as much as 81%.
The markets?
Markets were stronger yesterday with the JSE up more than 2.5%. The rand this morning, 16 rand 34 against the US dollar, slightly flat this morning, 19.01 against the euro, and 22 rand 2 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is down by more than 0.5% at $4,529 an ounce, while platinum is still below that $2,000 mark at $1,949. Brent crude down 1.5% this morning, $95 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with more analysis later this afternoon.
Now, talking of businesses, Mateo Haripe, why did the Scarecrow win the Employee of the Year at Scarecrow Inc.?
You're going to tell me.
Because he was outstanding in his field. To the news we go. Good morning, Bali Dlamini.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to you. But good morning, Bongani. Good morning. You're hilarious. You are. Free State Police are on high alert following yesterday's incidents of looting in various parts of Mangaung. 166 people were arrested in connection with the violence, 24 of which are underage individuals. The suspects face charges of public violence, looting and malicious damage to property. The unrest followed the circulation of voice recordings and digital posters calling for a shutdown over service delivery concerns. Police spokesperson Thabo Qovane says officers are monitoring hotspot areas.
The Provincial Commissioner of the Free State Province, Lieutenant General Tabang Solomon Messia, has been instrumental in ensuring that there is sufficient resources to respond in the manner that us in the district have responded. We have instructed provincial units, specialized units, to form part of this, and thus when we then were in a position to bring the situation under control.
Nearly half of Cape Town residents are at risk from air pollution despite overall moderate air quality. That's according to a new study from the University of Cape Town that identifies carbon monoxide from vehicle emissions as the main pollutant. Lead author and environmental health lecturer Dr. Meryl Jagarath says pollutant concentrations exceed the World Health Organization's annual average limits.
In Cape Town, it exceeds the annual average from the World Health Organization, which is about 5 micrometers. And so this is exceeded annually, and sometimes it also, with some parts of the city, actually reaching over 10 micrometers of particulate matter 2.5.
Jagannath adds that communities along the N2 corridor have been identified as particularly vulnerable.
Areas like Khayelitsha, Crossroads, Philippi, Guguletu, that has high exposure to air pollution. We found also the residential areas near the airport as well. And also we found along the Southern Peninsula, due to forest fires, that there is poor air quality.
Jagannath also says related poor air quality could have a detrimental effect on health.
Associated with a higher risk of respiratory diseases, asthma, cardiovascular diseases, heart disease, and even some cancers as well. So that's generally the risks that are associated with air pollution. But also to note that overall we do have a moderate air quality in Cape Town.
And fighting has resumed between government troops and the M23 militia in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The nation has been scarred by violence from various armed groups for more than 3 decades. Since 2021, the M23 rebels have seized large parts of territory, and fighting has stepped up since the start of 2025. The DRC is also ground zero for an Ebola outbreak, which has sparked an international health alert by the World Health Organization. The illness has caused 204 deaths and 867 suspected cases. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Parkmore along Santon Drive. This is just as you approach Republic Road. That's due to peak time delays there, as well as an accident scene. Please try to avoid that one. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive due to peak time delays.
The top story in EWN, Free State Police are on high alert following yesterday's incidents of looting in various parts of Mangaung.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people, Sunday 26 July, Babize Bonke. And this year, you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 5-kilometer Victoria Yard route takes you from Ellis Park through the inspirational Joburg Cricket Club into Victoria Yards and past the Troyville Hotel. You then finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers or 15 kilometers, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone. So I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Winter Symphony Season, featuring masterpieces by Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and more, is sure to exhilarate music lovers. Concerts take place on Thursday evenings from 4 to 25 June at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available at Quicket.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani. The issue of electricity is painful because, like in the city of Tsane, we have a mayor who seems so powerful when she's cutting off the defaulters, right? But she can't deal with the people who are misusing the little they get from those payments. Like, look at Gareth Misi and his friends and whoever that they are. She doesn't have power, and she never commented on those at all. It's sad.
Good morning, Bongs. I hear a lot of people saying, why can't we buy electricity directly from Eskom? Well, the system is not designed like that. Municipalities were designed for that very purpose. Eskom doesn't have the infrastructure to supply everyone. So meaning that if you have an outage in your area, then it would have to be an Eskom problem. Then you won't have to call the municipality anymore. I think it's up to National Treasury to deduct the money that is owed to Eskom yearly before they disperse funds, at the start of each financial year. But it's not as simple. It's like saying, why can't we buy water directly from rainwater? The system is not designed like that. The infrastructure belongs to the municipalities and stuff. So it's not that simple. Actually, it's almost impossible.
Hi, Bongani, Lucretia here. I can tell you now, if Eskom is going to cut off lights and, electricity to people that are paying, there is going to be such an outcry in this country. And I, for one, will be sick and tired of paying and my stuff gets cut off due to those that don't pay or those that have taken the money and stolen it. We can't only say it's city power. You often get suppliers and that who supply goods and services to the government and they don't get paid in their 30 days. So it's not only city power, it's rotting from the top.
We're talking, of course, about the electricity crisis, the warning from Business Leadership South Africa that even though we've had 375 days without load shedding, we cannot allow Eskom to suffer the financial losses it has to be paid.
EWN Sport.
Listen, our capital today, Sindipaluta, turns Brazilian.
Yes, turns yellow and blue today.
Yes, absolutely, yellow
Right.
and blue. So, I mean, funny enough, it's very poetic. The jacarandas are not indigenous to South Africa. They come from South America, the jacaranda tree. So it's all very poetic, you see. Jacaranda trees, sundowns in the Brazilian colors.
Right.
See where this is going?
I do. I get it. And I love it for the Mamelodi Sundowns fans
Yes,
who will be
yes.
lining
Well
the,
deserved.
the streets of Pretoria today to celebrate the Champions League winning side. The trophy parade starts from Nelma Pierce around 10 through Mamelodi, reaching Church Square from 3:30. Midfielder Jaden Adams dedicated the win to his friend, SA Under-20 captain and Stellenbosch defender Ashwin Andries, who died in 2023 at the age of 19.
I can't describe the feeling. I think this is just another big one for Oswin, who passed away. I'm just happy to add another trophy on his behalf and to his family for Stellenbosch, Idas Valley, Clutizo, Clubmates, Kayamandi, everyone in Cape Town, and for South Africa who was behind us. Just thank you.
And while that parade is going on, Cape Town City will be battling Milford in the first of the Premiership relegation battles. The third team in contention is Magesi. Kick-off today's 3. FIFA World Cup starts in 2 weeks' time. Bafana defender Alberto Macania sat out of Philadelphia's game with Inter Milan last night due to an undisclosed injury. It's also the same game that saw Argentina's Lionel Messi walk off in the second half with a hamstring injury. Spain named their World Cup squad, and as expected, Yamin Lamal is there, but the shock is that there's not one single Real Madrid player in that side. Spain's opening game is against Cape Verde on June the 15th. Roland Garros still getting through the first round matches. The women's and men's top seeds Sabalenka and Sinner open their campaigns today. While at the Telkom Netball League, today's Division 1 matches at the Ellis Park Arena. Allos playing the Jaguars. Last night, the Allos shocked the Flames, beating them by 6. Jaguars lost by 18 to the Fireballs. The 7 p.m. game tonight stings against Crinums. And the IPL has reached the knockout stage. Qualifier 1 today. Royal Challengers Bangalore against Gujarat Titans. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Johannesburg Water advises residents of planned maintenance by bulk supplier Rand Water from 29th May to 2nd June and again on the 17th July as part of its annual winter maintenance program. During these periods, Johannesburg water systems may experience low water pressure or no supply. Residents are urged to store water in advance and avoid last-minute storage, which can strain the system. Affected areas include Sandton, Midrand, Randburg, Rudaport, Soweto, Lenasia, Orange Farm and surrounding suburbs. Updates will be shared via Johannesburg Water and City of Johannesburg platforms. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park this year. Lions fans, it's time to roar. Get ready for a season of pure adrenaline in the heart of Jozi. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership starting from just 950 Rand. That's right, less than $1,000, and it unlocks your seat to every Lions home match at Emirates Airline Park. That includes the one you've been waiting for, the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. So don't get left at the gate for the biggest game of the year. Memberships are available right now at Ticket Pro. Own the season, back the pride, and get behind your team, the Lions.
That's Fani before he got naked. Fani's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Fani got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Fani. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
EWN Traffic.
17 to 9. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic, Amo.
Well, Bongani, we do have delays on the N1 North between Malibongo Drive and Beyers Nodia Drive. That's due to roadworks along this route. And then in Sharon Lee, we still have got those delays on Malibongo Drive between Bayless Drive and the N1 while traveling on the, in Parkmore. We still have got that accident scene along Santon Drive. It happened right near Republic Road. It is causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Mzansi, Powerball and Powerball Plus have skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping 207 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. Don't get left behind. Play Powerball for an estimated 107 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 100 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za or the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, push up, play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
We at Monument Dental are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium when you switch? For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance business insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Bongani, morning. You know this ESCOM thing, I don't understand it. Can I remain anonymous? Yeah, I don't understand it. ESCOM is owed 1 billion. Yet they are going ahead, pushing ahead, putting in smart meters. Where do they get the money to buy and pay for the labors or the tender for the smart meters? Because that thing, when you look at it in the township, it's a big operation. I mean, they are digging trenches on the pavement in the houses. It's labor there. Then they have to buy the smart meters, install them. It's money. Where do they get the money? If we, for crying out loud, saying ESCOM doesn't have money, it's owed. I think something is amiss somewhere here. Thank you.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
14 minutes before 9, the world has been restored. Things are back to normal. Clement Manyatela is also back in the hot seat. A very good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How was Europe?
It was good. The weather was perfect.
You're used to the heat anyway, right?
Yes.
Coming from Johannesburg.
Yeah, but also I left a cold Johannesburg. So I was very receptive to...
Now you pack your thick jackets.
To the warm, and look at how I'm dressed now, right?
Not that bad.
But it's good to be back. So on the show today, we're going to start with the 702 open line. There's lots to discuss. We will touch on Brown Mokhotse's appearance in court yesterday. We will touch on the names of MPs that have now been announced by Parliament. These are MPs who are going to sit on that impeachment committee.
We've got a convicted criminal.
Yeah.
We've got a criminally accused and an impeached judge, all deciding the fate of the president.
The fate of the president. How interesting. So I want to ask the listeners if they are satisfied with the list of MPs who are going to be representing them, because that's essentially what they'll be representing us as South Africans. So we'll chat
Depends
about
on
that.
who you voted for.
Yeah, right? And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to reflect on the national security meeting that took place yesterday, the meeting that brought together the ministers of Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster.
So let me quickly quiz you. Whilst we're there, just randomly 2 comments that came out of that meeting. The defense minister saying, well, actually part of the problem with the porous borders is insufficient budget, which means they're going to be porous then for some time yet to come. But also then the call for the SADC region to start enforcing their immigration laws. Does that compute with you? Because these folks come to South Africa, they get jobs here, they get access to healthcare, they get access to education. Those that are working are able to send remittances back home. That money somehow, of course, is taxed and makes its way into the coffers of those states, which we never criticize for their failures. You think those ministers, do turkeys vote for Christmas?
No. So I think that's a bit misplaced because, in fact, I interviewed the Zimbabwean ambassador to South Africa once, and I asked him, what responsibility do you take as Zimbabwe? Because it's a failed state that we must really look at, because that's why people end up leaving to find opportunities elsewhere. But our government clearly doesn't care about the failing state.
The president was hobnobbing with Mnangagwa just
at his
a few weeks
private
ago.
farm.
Just a
So
few weeks
we
ago.
don't care about that. So, which then brings up the question, is there seriously some political will and an interest to resolve this crisis?
Listen, I think they're worried about these movements that are mushrooming, because you could maybe dismiss Operation Dudula, and now there's a new one, March and March.
Mm-hmm.
And the fervor around this issue is growing. And I think they're looking at it and they're saying, whoa, something is bubbling here.
I also think it's an
But
election
they're not
year,
dealing with it.
so they are going to try, because there are political parties that have taken this as a campaign message, and it is resonating with some South Africans.
With a lot of South Africans.
A lot of them, to be precise. So I do think that they're also thinking along political lines here.
But you also then have a sense that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, because Gayton McKenzie says one thing, Ronald Lamola says another.
And they're all part of this one cabinet and government. So we're going to be reflecting on that at 10 o'clock. I'll bring in one of the ministers who were in the meeting. I'll bring in one of the organizations as well who attended this meeting. What's the way forward? And then at 10:30, we are going to be in conversation with Sizekaya Holdings. Remember, they're the new National Lotteries operator. From the 1st of June,
And they have
take
friends in
over
high
from
places.
Ituba. Do they? Oh, yeah. That's what's coming up on the show.
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
That's Kefense, before she got naked. Kefense's premium went up twice last year, and she was more confused than when her ex said, I need to find myself, and then found somebody else. So Kefense got naked. She got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Good for you, Kefense. Get a car and home insurance quote now at Naked Authorized FSP. Get naked.
Tax deadlines don't have to result in penalties. With the 31 May employer submission deadline approaching, avoid lastminute.com. Submit your accurate employer reconciliation declaration, EMP 501, on time using EasyFile or e-filing. Employers, make your tax matters your priority number one. Submit by 31 May 2026. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
It's time to get revved up. The Motor Select Rev Up sale is on, and we've got thousands of quality pre-owned vehicles at unbeatable prices. That's everything from city cars to 4x4s. Offer ends 30 June, so get to motorselect.co.za now.
Calling all aspiring radio stars, this June 7:02 afternoons with Rilebogile Mabucha is bringing back Youth Takeover Thursdays. And if you or someone you know of dreams of being on air as a talk show host, newsreader, traffic reporter, sports presenter, we want to hear from you. A select few will shadow the team, go live on 7:02 and walk away with a professional demo. Email 702afternoons@702.co.za with your details, the role, a short motivation, and a 1-minute demo. Applications close 29 May.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I gotta tell you, there are certain names when it comes to South African storytelling that feel as big as theatre itself. Bongani Bingwa is certainly one of those names. From Sarafina, going all the way back to Waza Albert. His work didn't just entertain audiences, it documented pain, resistance, pride, the experiences of South Africans during some of our darkest years. And now, a new documentary, the Dr. Bongani Bingwa, This Is My Story, is giving audiences one final chance to hear the legendary playwright tell his own story. but it's a story that is also being told by those who worked with him, who knew him, who interacted with him professionally. And some of the names in this docu-fantastic film premiering at the Market Theatre, arriving at a deeply symbolic moment as, of course, South Africa marks 50 years since the 76 June uprisings, which inspired the story of Sarafina. Lindani Mbenze is the director of Bespoke Nyati Productions and joins us in this studio to tell us about this docu. A pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you for your time this morning.
Bongani, thank you very much.
Why tell this story, the Bongani Bingwa story?
So this is my story is actually a concept of what is to be a series of documentaries where we are documenting South African icons and legends. But the main thing here is telling their own story the way they want it to be remembered. So this is what it is. And the first of them, we started very high. We're hitting very high with the documentary of Dr. Bongani Bingwa, which we started filming back in 2020.
I understand,
Yes, while he was still with us. And unfortunately, in 2023, he departed. But we were left with the job to finish the story.
I mean, that's what makes this so fascinating, because much of this is narrated by Dr. Bingwa himself. How difficult has it been to carry on the project, even though, as you say, he's no longer with us?
I think by the time he passed away, we had already done most of his pieces to camera. It was just to film, some of the scenes that we speak about in the film. So basically, we had done that. So we had the story already. And when he passed on, I keep saying this. I didn't know whether to carry on or how do you carry on, what angle do you take thereafter. But I remember going to his memorial service at the Playhouse, and I walked in there, and there was a stage full of committed artists, which are all the artists that he's worked with, whether it's actors, whether it's singers, whether, we're in theater. They were all on stage singing, and I got so emotional just watching that. And I just knew when I left that venue that this story needs to be completed.
I mean, that was his backyard, that particular theater in the city of Durban. I said in my introduction, some of the people you speak to are really the biggest names in showbiz. I mean, you've interviewed people like Whoopi Goldberg. Quincy Jones, thankfully, before he passed, also makes an appearance in this documentary. And it just gives you a sense of the reach and impact of Bongani Bingwa.
Yeah, I think what was amazing for me is when doing the documentary, all the big names that he speaks of, and how close he was, and how they accommodated him. And I didn't accommodate him because they were doing him a favor. They accommodated him because he was doing them a favor. He came with a skill that nearly no one else had. His theater, his way of finding talent. If you watch Sarafina even today in theater more especially, you just ask yourself, what was this man thinking early 80s to have such a musical? And it has never changed, by the way. Whatever you see of Sarafina today, basically in theater, is what it was from
when he wrote it.
When he wrote it and when he did it.
I mean, if we talk about that, also just forget the playwright part, but also just as a composer and his ability to touch the salt of the earth experiences of South Africans with humor, with observation, with wit, yet in those dark years.
I think having celebrated Africa Day yesterday, one of the things that he speaks about in the documentary is the reach out of, for example, Stimela Sasezola, which was playing in the background just now. He refers to it. He says it was just a song for Africa. I know you've played it here today, but how many South Africans haven't heard Sarafina? We are now in May. How many South Africans from the beginning of the year haven't had Sarafina? Nearly everyone has, and it's just gone through time. It's gone through generations. It's really broken all sorts of barriers. We hear it locally. We hear it abroad.
His story wasn't without controversy, particularly in the later years. The culture has changed. Sensitivities around issues like gender-based violence, for example, have become a lot more pronounced. Is that part of the story you're telling this docu?
I think I'm going to say this unapologetically. I'm telling a feel-good South African story. I'm being very patriotic about my documentaries. The paparazzis and all sorts of other medias, they've had their chance to tell whatever they wanted to tell. This is the route I've taken. So it's unapologetically a South African feel-good story.
It's important to tell the stories of our icons before they're gone, because I think we're now living through that era where every other week, every other month, one of them goes. How important is it for audiences to understand how lucky we have been in terms of the contributions of people like Bongani Bingwa artistically to South African life?
Interestingly, when I came up with this concept, it was back in 2016. I had a wish list of about 8 names. Tsepo Tsula was one of them, no more. Hugh Masekela was one of them, no more. The King in KwaZulu-Natal was one of them, no more. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was one of them, no more. Zahara was one of them, no more. So just in that time, I literally lost my whole list. And people come and go, but they're leaving with very rich African and South African stories that need to be told, that need to be remembered.
Well, listen, the showing is, the premiere is going to be on the 30th of May. So that's this Saturday. And you can get your tickets, of course, at the Market Theatre box office. It's happening this Saturday, the 30th of May, at the John Gani Market Theatre in Johannesburg. And you can park at Newtown, so there's parking available there. And it'll happen from 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
The actual screening time will be?
4 o'clock. So when you park at the mall, we've got our sponsors BYD who will be driving you in luxury to the red carpet. From there on, then we'll be going into the theatre at 6 o'clock. We'll be starting with the formalities.
All right, fantastic stuff. So you want to watch that docu, the Bongani Bingwa story, on at the Market Theatre this weekend.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And look at the time. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Suspended Organised Crime Unit member Fani Nkosi is expected back in court today. His legal team is set to... Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Suspended Organised Crime Unit member Fani Nkosi is expected back in court today. His legal team is set to challenge the court's decision to deny him bail. The disgraced police sergeant remains behind bars after he was arrested during a raid at his Pretoria North home in April. Nkosi is facing firearm-related charges, with 7 guns being found during the raid.